Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. My new bit, Skibbity Druckmann.
Oh, God.
Chris Wolfhart.
I will also go, oh, God.
And Dr. Aggro.
Oh, God.
Here on GigaBoots.
I think Dan needs to be put in jail for a while over that.
What? I don't understand. I was informed by a very funny man who is definitely funny 3 decades ago that was a good bit.
Man, it really does need to be studied how instantly Stephen Colbert stopped being funny when he stopped being that character. Like, it's genuinely impressive how just a void of humor.
I made this thumbnail and I didn't think emotionally about how it'd feel to have a giant Neil Druckmann looming over me for the entire podcast.
You're about to get plus-size Patrick Swayze, my man.
Well, don't worry, Dan. It's a perfect. You will now spiritually be in the same place as all the Naughty Dog employees he's planning on getting rid of and replacing with AI. Spoilers for news.
Spoilers for news. I'm gonna try to stay in my happy place, which involves the Pizza Tower, nice Pizza Hut style cup. This is my happy place right here.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I got the rat though.
That's understandable. See, I needed cups anyway, so I was like, "Oh hell yeah, let's go."
That's too small for my cups. All my glasses are like 28 ounces minimum.
No, that's fair. That's why I normally drink out of like a thermos or this giant empty like liter-sized bottle.
It's a good thing I'm not a drunk, or I'd be one of those who's like, it's only my second glass of wine, and it's the size of it's like a quart.
It's only my second 40.
Hey, I know people who used to play Edward 40 hands at parties. That's when people duct tape 2 40s to your hands, and you're not allowed to take them off until you drink both 40s.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a 40 is, because that's part of drinking culture that feels subdued because it's so white trash and pathetic. A 40-ounce chat is a 40-ounce bottle of beer, and the entire point of this is because they heat up fast. You drink it fast. That's the point of a 40. Because otherwise it'll get warm. Because it's a giant glass bottle of beer, and it's not like a soda. You're not supposed to like pour it glasses of it. It's to get ignorant.
I'm tired of getting woke. I want to get ignorant.
And it's a very white trash thing, because I think even nowadays it's still like $4 a 40. Like, it's unbelievably cheap compared to like buying individual cans or bottles.
I'm seeing someone in chat say, yeah, I watched the Karate Kid YouTube series. That's a relevant thing in that.
Probably. I mean, isn't the whole point that it's like about the
burned out, washed up people from Karate Kid, yeah.
Yeah, the Cobra Kai guys being all burnt out and washed up.
We have many things to talk about this episode, some of which I'd give anything to not have the knowledge of that I do now. But we figured instead of talking about that, let's talk about other really, really dumb shit. Really dumb shit. Like, for example, I went to Amazon and I'm like, I want to walk on a treadmill while playing an RPG. What's the cheapest treadmill they have? And they say, dangerously small for you. And I'm like, I'll try my odds. They were right. I was playing Crow Country while walking on that thing. 1, Crow Country is an active game, not like an RPG that's turn-based. 2, I nearly fell off the thing multiple times because it's both too narrow and too short. So now I have to do the worst thing in the world. Return a giant heavy thing to Amazon.
At least it, didn't have to be constructed and cannot be unconstructed like a chair.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, there is that.
It can still fit back in its box.
Yeah, it can still fit back in its box. I did spend way too long fiddling with it because for anyone who, for most people, they have like screws at the back end on the left and the right, and you're supposed to adjust those to shorten and extend the distance it is from the front, so that way you could align the treadmill properly. So I fucked with that a lot during all of this, just to center it, and then eventually go, it is simply irresponsible for me to own this. When I had that many incidents in a 90-minute session, it is simply irresponsible for me to own that, is the conclusion I came to. Because I'm trying to imagine doing it even half asleep. Like, I was awake as fuck. And it was not a good idea. So, yeah, I have to return it just to protect myself. So now we've entered the awkward situation. Does Chris win? Do I just get a gym pass?
Just get a gym membership. Planet Fitness.
But
They're
then
not
I'm gonna
paying me.
Look. I love that you work that in. They're not paying me.
It's hard to, like, if you just want to go to the gym a couple times a week, it's fucking $10 a month. And if you pay $20 a month, you get all these other benefits, like you can bring a guest, you can go sit in their massage chairs for 2 hours if you want, you can sit on their weird hydro massage bed.
I actually didn't know about the massage chairs. That might change everything.
Okay.
I think there's a tanning booth you can get time in if you have the $20 a month one.
Like, counterpoint though, like I know getting gym pass sounds like a great deal up front, but you've got to think about the long-term impacts it's going to have on the exercise equipment industry. You are not directly supporting the people who make these machines.
Yeah, but you're also not supporting the dirtbags who are like, here, I run Death Lift Gym. It's $150 a month. We have secret booths in the bathroom for you to do your steroids in.
Yeah.
I'm the owner. I drive a Ford F450 that consumes children for fuel.
License plate, my penis is fine. It's a good size.
My truck has 4 wheels in the back because I'm afraid my wife is going to leave me.
I need that sort of traction in order to keep her in my life.
What do you haul in that truck, huh?
Oh, nothing. Actually, dated a chick once. She had a limited edition NASCAR F-150. And that meant she never used it for jack shit you would use a truck for, because she was like, well, then that would damage the truck, and then it would lose value.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like,
oh my god.
I don't know how to tell you this. This is not like the golden era of Beanie Baby thing that you think this is. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. If I have the shit in my house, I can stream and play an RPG and walk on the treadmill. That's the dream. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, it felt fucking awesome to play like an hour and a half-ish. Keep in mind, it's a little fucky because I had to, 1, kept falling off. 2, had to adjust the thing, so I'm losing a lot of time to that. It felt awesome to play 90 minutes of video game and burn like 350 calories. It's like, that felt like cheating.
You need to get really good at doing the boxing,
the fitness boxing
stuff. So you need to get good at just doing the bouncing on your on your balls and feet, and doing that while you're gaming. I've done that once.
Yeah,
it does require a lot of.
That seems even harder than the narrow treadmill, frankly. Because
I swear to God, Bob, I thought you were about to suggest that Dan put on a VR headset and get on a treadmill. And I was going to call the cops.
Believe me, I've had to keep talking myself out of that because it's too funny.
Send it back.
It's too funny right now. It's too funny.
Yeah, send it back. Get a fucking gym membership. You don't get to own a treadmill. you just told us that you're not responsible enough to own a treadmill.
Yeah,
look. That's the thing, Dan. That's a thing that you can do if you were a decade younger, because you wouldn't die from falling off it.
Look, all I'm saying is I'm invincible. I'll never die. No, all I'm saying is that was the voice in my head. That's the same voice that's like, you should throw open the door of this car and leap out right now at 50 miles an hour. And that's the voice you fight. And I have successfully fought that voice my whole life, right, Bob?
Definitely.
I forget how there was some viral tweet maybe like months ago, maybe even a year ago, that was like, everybody treats their 30s like their 20s until capitalization the injury.
No, I am actually genuinely really careful, but there is that thought in my brain. I'm just, wouldn't it be funny to do even a simple VR game on a treadmill? You know, full ass treadmills, not the walking pads, because this thing was a walking pad. It didn't have the upper part. Those, generally speaking, have like a cable that connects between you and the treadmill.
Yeah, so it turns off if you fall.
That won't matter because by the time it figures it out, I'm slamming my head wearing a headset into the treadmill's tread part.
Uh-huh.
But it's good notionally, right? I'm going to do augmented reality MetaQuest 3 games where I shoot aliens that are coming through cracks in the room while running on a treadmill. Not even walking anymore because it's like, but no, I don't know. Like, that's the complication because the only way I could work until the Switch 2 comes out. The only way I can work me playing relevant video games while walking on a treadmill is using remote play. I do not trust my ability to use remote play on a phone in a fucking gym or on a treadmill or rather an iPad or anything for that matter, because I will have to trust the Wi-Fi connection to the gym. Bad idea.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Or trust the mobile network coverage for my phone.
Right.
Which is also a bad idea. And also, my phone...
You could read a book.
Like do we review books?
We could.
I feel like we passed it up when Curse Content became about movies instead of us reviewing Guy Gayler's shitty books. You know, Tristan Newcomb, Lumelin, has books. Oh my God, he does. He has a book at bare minimum. So, you know, that's 2 of them right there. We get the Guy Gaylor one and the Tristan Newcomb one. That's 2 books. And then we have to review, what was it, Yumi and Ulysses S. Grant. Anyway. Start up the third Patreon. The third Patreon for the book review.
Jesus.
The book review channel. But no, like, this is complicated. I'm trying to min-max my time here. And like, obviously money-wise, it makes more sense on a remotely small scale of 2 years to just get the gym membership. But past that, assuming the treadmill holds up, it would pay itself off. It's kind of like the renting a lawnmower versus just buying a lawnmower thing of past a certain point, owning it was cheaper. Anyways, a decent treadmill costs a lot of money and this sucks. I think that's the end of that tangent though. For now, I'm still fighting off Chris's advice to get a gym membership. I don't want to talk about it yet.
Okay.
There's got to be something. Hey, Bob and I went to a Brazilian steakhouse. That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Ooh, was it one of the ones where they bring meat around on like swords?
Yes.
Yeah, hell yes.
Aggro, have you ever been to one of these places?
No, but I've had them described to me endlessly by sons of bitches who won't take me to one.
Well, guess what this segment...
That's also my... Actually, that's not true. When my older sister got married, she got married in Mexico to force everybody in our family to take a vacation. That was her clever plan. So I did get to eat it there at the resort we were at.
Yeah, that shit's good. That is unreal. I went to one in Pensacola, and it was good. This one was markedly better, and I think they were about the same price, and I was so fucking confused. It is fucked up levels of delicious. To just recap, they literally have the staff. I don't even know. Did they have a name for this person, this role?
So.
They walk around with like a metal pan with grooves in it to stop the skewer. They shove the skewer into the middle of it so they can brace it the whole time. They walk up to your table holding a giant knife, and you have a thing you can flip over to let them know whether you are ready for the meats or you are tapped out on the meats. And they walk up and just carve off a bit, and you get little like grabbers in order to like tongs to grab it, hold it, slam it on your fucking plate. And holy shit, this was really good. What was it? It was flank steak, sirloin, Parmesan chicken. No,
that's right. That was there.
Okay.
There was that, but there's also the Parmesan pork.
There was also Parmesan pork, and that was really good too. And they also had ribs, so they just had a literal rack of ribs, and then they come out and just carve off of that onto your thing. This place was ridiculous. They also had lamb. Yeah, their salad bar was fucking ludicrous because it just had insanely high-end shit, but it also, like, the soup bar had a lobster bisque that was insanely good, to the point of I didn't try it until the very end of the meal. And I was like, oh, this is delicious. I'm going to go drink a whole other bowl. And everyone at the table is like, what the fuck? And I'm like, lobster bisque I tried before now was a cruel joke, a parody, a sick impersonation of this dish. This is insane. That was damn good. So anyways, thank you, Spiff, for the birthday dinners. Plural, because Tosh, Bob, and myself have like a 3 or 4 week span where it's our birthday. So Bob, did you have anything you wanted to say about the Brazilian?
I don't think so. Yeah, as you described, it is insane.
It is fucking...
It does cause a little bit of FOMO with food, though. Because, like, if you miss them when they go by with one kind of meat, it's like, will it come back? I better eat it now. I am now ill.
Yeah, the cool thing was, like, the manager was going around to everyone's table, and they're like, hey, is everything good? And I'm like, yeah, we missed out on blank. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they just immediately sent out someone. So, you know, if you go to a good place...
Right.
You maybe have that experience. The way I'm looking at it for my weight loss and fitness routine is that was all protein, so it's good, actually. And there was no problem with me eating over 2,000 calories in meat.
Yeah. What about the lobster bisque? Was that protein?
That was, fat's also an important look. I'm bisque loading, okay, for my sick gains I'm about to get. No one hold me down for when these sick gains are supposed to show up on camera. That's rude, actually.
All you wusses out here using carbohydrates to get big. Real builders do it with soup.
I kind of want to do the fucked up, like, my deranged video game bisque-oriented version of the American Psycho intro.
Jesus.
I'm just like, every morning I start off with a full bowl of lobster bisque. I then immediately start doing crunches. I've gotten up to 15.
We hard cut to you in a doctor's office. So, how much lobster bisque would you say you eat in an average day?
I mean, not that much. I do tend to have a lobster bisque, I suppose, but...
Jesus.
Oh my God.
So now that this has become completely impenetrable.
Right, yeah. Yeah, anyways, this isn't a place I would ever plan to go to again anytime soon, but if you have the opportunity to go to an expensive restaurant like a Brazilian steakhouse once, please check out a Brazilian steakhouse. That is a very different experience. It is very, very good. The only reason I would think you would not enjoy it is if you don't like meat.
Right.
Then obviously there's not much for you, but frankly, that salad bar was really damn good. They also had a pile of mushrooms. I didn't even get that. I didn't even get a pile of mushrooms. Tosh got the pile of mushrooms. I ate one of hers, but I was like maxing out on meats and bisques.
Right.
Anyways, fine. We'll talk about YIIK.
Okay.
Dan, it's been years of hype and dread
like
and
you
hearsay.
talked about.
Okay, I'll set a timer. Aggro, continue.
I've never experienced any of it firsthand. I want to know, is it as bad as it sounds?
It is worse.
Yeah, it's somehow worse.
Oh no.
It is.
I did not watch most of that stream because I intend to play this game myself when the big update comes out. Even if every single thing narratively about it was completely fine, the mechanics would strangle it in under a tub. It would just shove it underwater and drown it to death.
So I'm gonna try.
Everything takes so fucking long.
Yeah. So YIIK is a turn-based RPG. It's indie. It is made with the same inspirations as Undertale might be considered to be, and one of the characters in the game literally goes, "Oh, I'm such a huge fan of 3 hyper-specific RPGs that didn't have much distribution by the time this game came out, or this game is placed in 1999." To which I immediately went, "No, you did not play all 3 of those. I'm the only human I ever knew growing up who played all 3 of those." Because they literally said Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2, and one other one. And I was like, "No. You're wrong. In 1999, fuck you."
I think that it's funny you mentioned Undertale because I'm pretty sure that Undertale, this
Secret of Mana.
Valhalla,
Secret of Mana was the third one. Continue.
And something else. There was some kind of publishing thing involving all 3 of those because Alex Yickman, I think, can show up in Valhalla if you meet certain circumstances.
Yep.
The Valhalla composer and Toby Fox both did songs for this game. They're the 2 best songs in this game. Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
But I forget the specifics of it. I forget. I forget like if it was like Dangan Entertainment or whatever related.
I don't know if that was related at all. I think he was just like indies helping other indies out without really knowing. Because I saw people in chat who were just like, "I can't believe Toby Fox would do a thing for this game." And I'm like, when you create art and you're collaborating, and someone goes, "I would like a song from you in my game," you don't go, "Explain to me the artistic thrust of your vision and how you're going to execute it." You meet them, and if it seems like they're headed in the right direction, you kind of trust them and maybe help them with the thing. Now then, the assignments YIIK puts itself to are good. You can literally do what YIIK wanted to, and it can be great. Undertale has a lot of the same tasks taken to it that YIIK sets out to solve. It does it the worst way possible, and I genuinely hope I never meet the human being who made it. I will have never been meaner to a human being in my life than I will be to that person. I cannot explain the depths of which this game is unbelievably stupid and creatively bankrupt in the time slot I am allotted for this big think dimension. Anyway, there's a part where I put in a name at a certain point, and then Aggro popped up, and he was black. So I immediately looked at the screen and went, "Aggro, we need to talk." Thus, Chris, the context for why is Aggro allegedly blackface?
I vaguely know this.
So now there's context for that. As Chris was talking about, all the mini games, every attack in the game is a mini game. All the mini games are awful. They feel awful. The combat balance is awful. They keep updating the game because they changed the combat from the core launch version and didn't make it better. They made it worse. You know, last year...
Did you ever kneel and switch it to story difficulty?
No.
Nope.
Oh,
and we still beat it in...
That's something I'll be fucking doing.
We still beat it in like 22 and a half hours.
Yeah, we still beat the How Long to Beat.
Yeah, we beat it in 22 and a half hours, and then we just spent a little extra chunk just talking to people and then loading up Foxandra getting the secret ending, which, holy shit, I didn't expect the secret ending to make me angrier.
Right.
At the fucking audacity of this person to write all the shit they wrote. It's funny because, like, when this dude went on podcasts and talked to people, he's like, "No, the character's based on, like, me when I was a worse person and a bully I knew, and that's not me. It's not a self-insert. It's this." And I'm like, you made this game? So that is irrefutable evidence you're still that guy.
Yeah.
You are the worst. For people who don't know, I thought this was going to be a plot line in this game that began and ended and we would move on. The core plot line of this game, the inciting incident, is in fact based on a real life tragic death of a person that was possibly a murder, possibly a suicide, but is really fucked up from the 90s or whatever. He just entire details of the story inserts into game. And then he goes, "Well, you know, it's okay because I was one of those internet people who got weirdly obsessed over that back in the day." And I'm like, yeah, no shit. You're clearly deranged enough to put it in your game. That doesn't make it okay. And on top of this, there are 12 million things about the story that are rancid.
Yeah.
It is so bad out here. YIIK is the most reprehensible game I've ever played, and aside from the story, ignoring the story, just focusing on the game itself, it is the worst RPG I've ever played.
It hit me with some of these combat mini games. Like, what's the deal? What has gone wrong?
You literally need to know that as I describe all of these, you need to imagine one worse than you've ever seen before.
And add
a pound of input
latency. I was like, at least 3 extra frames of input lag than you think is already there.
It's way more than 3.
Oh, yeah, because
3 is tolerable. That's only 48 milliseconds. This is like hundreds of milliseconds.
Yeah,
it's
unreal. Seconds of input lag.
It's unreal how bad this is. So one of the powerful things you can do is one of your characters in the game is a musician type, and they will get the ability to heal you by playing a song. So, okay, how do you do inputs for a song? Well, it's always, every time, forever going to be multiple seconds of you hitting square, square, triangle, triangle, circle, circle, X, X, L2, and then you loop it. And they give you seconds to do this every time you cast this healing spell. So you just square, square, triangle. But there's pounds of latency, remember? So it's literally so bad, you have to ignore the game entirely and just focus on the controller as you put it in on the faith it will receive the input, which is not always the case with most other things in the game. And then you will successfully cast a healing spell. There's not a certain amount of times you do it. You just keep bashing it.
Correct.
The sound it makes when you hit these buttons is the most like terrible toy piano sound humanly possible. It doesn't sound pleasant to listen to in the least. It's not playing a song. It mapped those buttons to notes that are all just in a progression. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you just went in a fucking store up to like a display keyboard and went do 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 do. Except for what I just did has more of a rhythm and a tonality to it than this thing does. So that's one mini game. There are easily a dozen plus because you get a full cast of characters. This game isn't balanced at all. So either it is deranged levels of difficult because of weird specific things, like we made it so this boss can hit you so hard you're stunned, and your ally, your sole ally, because we took away the rest of your party, uses their health bar to attack, and when they expend that fully, they will go unconscious for multiple turns in a row. So then you just end up stun locked on a loop, and then you're dead. And then they put the rest of your party back in your party, and you're like, oh, the game's broken easy again because I have one party member who can block every hit on every character. Literally, that's what his move does. He takes every hit your team receives every turn forever. Mm-hmm. And then you use this other person to heal him. And then you give the main dude a magic power so he can do a ridiculously strong attack. It's not balanced. This thing, like, Bob, you were talking about this is the only RPG made by a man who couldn't pass an arithmetic course was basically the thrust of what you said?
Yeah, basically saying he did not get out of elementary school.
It's genuinely repugnant. Everything about this is so fucking amateur.
Yeah, I've never seen a game made wrongly in every way possible. Like, before we played this, I had no idea it was even 3D.
That's pretty funny.
So when we get in there and it has the worst looking 3D graphics maybe ever made, the mechanics that make no sense, and leveling that basically doesn't work. Like, it still takes, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes to beat 4 enemies.
Yeah,
if you from the very beginning of the game.
If you're hitting an encounter with 4 enemies, because of the way the game's designed, it just takes minutes and minutes and minutes to end that encounter.
Right? Because every time an enemy attacks you, you have to do the block the block mini game, which is awful. And you do it like
it's
whatever.
Okay because they have like 2 or 3 block mini games, and they're different layers of awful. Yes. There's the one where it's a unique block mini game that's if an attack is hitting your entire party. You have to do this one. They added that one entirely after launch. So they keep adding things after launch that are not helping. For example, when people accused YIIK, the creator in this case, of plagiarism, He just added a button to the main menu that says references. And it includes the things I believe that he just stole text from, just wholesale for characters to say.
Uh-huh.
And at very least, it's like, I referenced Chrono Trigger with this visual.
He's also...
It's no longer plagiarism.
He's the most thin-skinned man alive. The game boots up and explains to you how you should say the name of the game. That's the first thing it does. That's more important than anything else in the game to him. People need to say it right.
The opening hours of this game is the main character monologuing nonstop in his internal voice, but there's not... Aggro, you will probably, of all people, I believe... Actually, I don't know. Let me explain. So, there are a lot of words in this. That's not a problem. He doesn't have an editor, and it is a real fucking problem. Because not only will characters not just simply state exactly what they're trying to get across, they will recap themselves nonstop. Per chapter, nonstop. So I went from 5 hours of watching Bleach last week, where it was nonstop recap, to this fucking RPG that was doing the same. And there's no excuse. These are voiced lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of it's just the main character's thinking to himself in circles. Like he literally will go through the whole thought and then start it over and say it again.
And once again, just like with the minigames, we need you to imagine what we're saying, but the worst version of it possible beyond the worst you've ever seen before.
Yeah, that is definitely like that precisely sounds like somebody needed an editor. Yeah.
Somebody in chat was saying, and I didn't verify this, I'm not doing anything regarding YIIK ever again. It was going to be a book originally, and then he made it an RPG. And I'm like, okay, so it was going to be a bad book, and now it's a terrible RPG. Fantastic. Good job.
So, let me into this main character a little. I've heard he's terrible, but I'm not really sure why. Like, okay. Are we talking Ready Player One? Aggro? Is he just a horrible misogynist?
Okay, Aggro.
Is he in the clan?
So specifically, in the middle of this stream, I said, Aggro hopefully never has to play this game because he will want to murder this main character because he is hyper specifically tuned to be repugnant to all of us, but especially you, because this dude's an absolute sociopath in this game. You see, he wrongs people, and instead of understanding, like, the game wants to frame it, and the dev backs this up. He says this in interviews all the time. He's like, you're supposed to hate Alex Yickman at the beginning, and then he changes and improves as a character. And the game's text is, he changed and his friends forgave him, but they forgot to write him changing, and in fact doesn't recognize what he's doing wrong ever. So let's say he will betray someone by not letting them know the information he has and how he's going behind their back to do a thing they specifically didn't want him to do. And then he'll apologize for not letting them know he was going to do that thing they didn't want him to do. Actually, it's not even that tier. What did he apologize for that time with Vela? He was like, I shouldn't have done that. And then he immediately gets to doing the same thing again, but now she's on his side because the game decided he was forgiven. Even though he didn't identify what upset her, she didn't have a moment out loud where she goes, oh, okay, maybe I misunderstood. Nothing like that. He's just forgiven now. So this game is 22 hours of this man getting away with it?
Yeah, like if you have read and described that through line, that is sociopath behavior.
It is the whole game.
That's the entire game.
The entire game. At no point does it stop, and in fact, the rules of the universe really lean into reinforcing and magnifying the narcissism and sociopathy of the main character. And yet again, one last time, one last farewell moment of, you changed.
Yeah, not being able to tell the difference between having personal growth and change and everyone treating you like you changed is some real terrifying black hole of humanity kind of shit.
It is absolutely repugnant. I fucking hated it. We've often talked about, Chris, me, Aggro, about people who go, well, the cast of this is like terrible people. I don't want to engage with terrible people, so I couldn't watch it. I watch all sorts of things people would describe as that, and I find them great. Mm-hmm. There's nothing here. Alex Yickman at no level is an interesting person.
No.
His interactions with the world are not interesting. This is a fucking power fantasy a middle schooler would write, and you would go, this is not good enough. This is the worst game we've ever played. So there are like 8 battlefields. What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm really enjoying this moment because people often talk about art aspirationally as people expressing themselves, but they generally don't include in that expression the idea that, you know, sometimes horrible people express themselves.
Which a horrible person can express themselves and have an understanding of other people, and that can make that interesting. But this is a person who literally doesn't understand other people at all. Like, this game has no sympathy, has no empathy, has no understanding of other human states. So it is the ultimate black hole experience. I genuinely have never engaged with such a long thing that is so poorly made that does not understand how to accomplish its assignment in the least. Because in the title, you know, YIIK, a postmodern RPG. It's postmodern, which means something, I think. How are you going to accomplish
it's immune
that?
to criticism.
That is actually what the dude thought. So when people started criticizing it, he had meltdowns, plural. Because the gamers are too stupid for his game. Literally what he said.
Oh, yeah. No, like you don't make an RPG about yourself themed after games you like and not have like your brain replaced by a spider with auteur written on the thorax.
Yeah, this game somehow still has weird, rabid fans who will say those things to you. Like, I don't understand how that has maintained. I'm like, is this literally just him name searching?
Well, what do you mean by those things?
Just that it is postmodern, thus immune to criticism. Like, that's basically the thrust of everything they say.
Well, no, they don't say it's postmodern so it's immune to criticism. They say it's postmodern so it's intentionally bad.
Yes.
Which is a different statement, and that's not how... You misunderstand postmodernism entirely because...
I haven't read anything this person said. I don't even know their name. So I'm not
Me
going...
neither. Great.
I'm not going to say for sure what they did and didn't say, because frankly, I don't fucking trust any of you motherfuckers trying to tell me what they said.
Mm-hmm.
But why are you trying to fix it then? Like, this theoretically, if they did say it's bad on purpose, it's postmodern, why do you keep trying to fix it?
Yeah, this game has...
I feel like that's the obvious retort. It's like, why are you overhauling it so thoroughly if the point is that every single mini game takes 45 seconds and feels bad, and also the music is bad, and also it looks like shit?
It's amazing because it's that idea of like, my wife left me because I'm a fucking slob, and instead of like getting a better job and working hard at life and losing weight and like making yourself better, you just became a different weird shitty person. And then you're like, no, see, I'm different now, and also you were wrong then anyway. That's what playing YIIK is like.
God, yeah, every time we'd hit a section, people were like, yeah, add this later. It was always something that felt insanely thin-skinned, like, oh man, people didn't understand his thoughts before he said this guy's sister dying wasn't a big deal. It's like...
Yeah, we need to explain that. So there's a moment where Yickman says a terrible thing in the game, okay? I'm not going to talk about what exactly. Once again, Chris will play it at some point. But we rip you out of that moment to make an out of that space internal monologue externalized through 7 characters you have to keep walking up to and talking to, running across the room over and over again in order to have them do an internal monologue that explains Alex Yickman having said that. This was added post-launch. It adds nothing other than time.
Oh my God. No, that is absolute frenzied crazy person nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
updating your game to relitigate your shitty writing? To no, what I said was completely justified because avalanche of bullshit. That is disqualifyingly fucked.
And on top of all this, we haven't even gotten to, so there's a sewer segment 3 hours into the game, I think it was, Bob.
Oh my God.
And the enemies are shitty Ninja Turtle knockoffs. And shit. Like an emoji, poop emoji enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And the game uses them for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
In the context of the sewer, it almost made sense. But we're hearing, ow, right in the manhole for the entire rest of the game. We're hearing, I said no anchovies for the entire rest of the game.
Well, game development is hard, so they couldn't make that many enemies. To which I would say, maybe you should, but
you didn't have time between redoing an entire character's design and adding an entire cutscene for them that was radically different to launch because people said your original thing was too lol random. You didn't have time to add an enemy, so we didn't have to see the Ninja Turtles for the entire rest of the game.
You could literally like these things don't really animate in combat. You could just make another model and have it function
the game
identically.
looks like shit.
Yeah.
And they added mini games as far as like the dodge one for the all attacks at the bare minimum. So they added shit that took money. I mean, fuck the character they completely overhauled and redid the cutscene of, and then meaninglessly inserted into 2 other dungeons so they could say lines that were said elsewhere in the game, and this character's plot line goes nowhere. There is no thread with this thing. It does not make sense. It does not matter. It is just a thing of the game. Is voiced by Wesker's voice actor. The original, like, Wesker guy, DC Douglas.
Yeah.
DC Douglas, yeah.
Yeah. They actually paid a professional voice actor to add all that stuff that was meaningless.
Hey, I think most of the voice actors are professional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the main character was in fucking Smash before he ran his mouth and got removed from everything in human history.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's that guy. Yeah. So yeah. There's a point where you finish a thing that's supposed to be the goal of a quest, and it ends up maybe not doing that. But at the end of this moment, this chunk of the game, because there are so many chunks of the game that somehow feel like filler that could have gone into any other character other than our main character, but no one else will be explored or developed or anything.
God, no. There's no time for that. Our main character is so important and valid.
The end of this storyline is a random hippie dude monologuing for minutes straight about tea, a specific tea. And then it just ends, and then you go, oh, we didn't get the thing. Oh, no, this really obvious thing I should have noticed before. Okay, thanks for doing this quest line. So anyway, yeah, I genuinely hate this game. It is bad on every level. The last thing I want to mention, there are like 8 battle themes in this game, and none of them mesh well together, and most of them sound like shit. So at random, you're dealing with the most droning... Also, they don't loop right.
Yeah.
None of them loop right. So it's constantly changing styles. It's constantly changing everything because this is where he got all of the contributed musics, right? These like the Valhalla dev did one of these, or Valhalla composer did one of these, and the Toby Fox did this other one, and just at random in different battles. So we fought a bat, and that's when the Toby Fox song premiered.
Yeah, that he didn't have any thought as to where these battle themes should show up. It's just bizarre. It's like it basically feels like a random number generator made it. Like, yeah, I have 10 themes. They will show up.
Yeah.
How did you come to that conclusion? Have you ever played an RPG that did that? No, you haven't, because that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, no, I'm very sincere and very assertive on this is the worst game we've ever played. It's repugnant on absolutely every level. It is terribly made on every single level. There's nothing I like in this game. Not one thing.
Yeah, no, there's not really nothing else to say. It's truly an awful game made by an awful person, almost certainly. And yeah, like Dan was saying, there's no good part of it. Like,
God, what if that big overhaul makes it amazing and I have to come in here like it was a completely different game?
it's impossible. It literally is.
It would literally have to be we redid the entire plot.
Yeah, there's no good thing about that plot. That whole plot, like Dan was saying, hinges on a real life event, which is just terrible. And the rest of it's just narcissism.
I am really excited. Honestly, the more you talk, the more I'm excited to play it when this patch comes out. It'll either be shockingly nothing, like they actually barely changed anything, which seems weird because I think they've been because I know people who have been working on testing, and it's like, yeah, it's been like they've been actively testing it for like a year. Or it will be so drastic that it will be a Freedom Planet situation, and now nobody can ever talk about it again because there's 8 versions of the game.
Yeah, it's like we cut out half the plot threads, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. None of those mattered,
right?
We completely tore out every single mini game, and also the bad way you level up.
Oh yeah, and an update. They added in elemental damaging.
Yeah, I was going to bring up because like last year, I think people were like, Final Fantasy 16 would be perfectly fine if they just added elemental weaknesses and damage. And that's literally what they did to YIIK, and it made it worse.
Yeah, and they had so little confidence in it. You can go into each character and turn it off and on individually, which just shows how weird and broken this whole combat system is when you can do that.
Once again, for the people in the back who maybe didn't understand, you can turn off the elemental system existing per character. So they are no longer weak to certain types of attacks. They no longer have an elemental attribute to do more or less damage to certain enemies.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like that sounds like this. It is trendy now to, especially in indie games. Indie devs, you need to stop right now. I'm giving you all advice. If you consider something a core part of your game, if somebody's like, I would like to turn it off, you need to tell them, go play another game. I get that scary as an indie dev, but I'm getting sick of these indie games where it's like, here's our core mechanic, you can shut it off because some people don't like it.
So they also made it so that way, what was it? They had different normal attacks at launch.
Mm-hmm.
And as I recall it, they shoved those now to be a spell, and now you have a different minigame. But you, per character, can opt whether or not that's the case. It's just the most insane thing of like, this used to be their normal attack, but people complained, so now this is their spell called Overdrive or Direct Drive or something. But you can toggle this thing to make that their normal attack again. But so many people hated it, you could do it per character. And I'm like,
and you think
what the fuck are you saying?
You think the thought there would be, oh, well, now their normal attack doesn't have a minigame. But instead, they all have a minigame for their normal attack still. So I don't get what they were trying to accomplish even.
And yes, the name was Beatdown.
Yes.
Absolutely fucking insanely bad game. Last thing. Earlier, I said I'm not going to engage with anything else regarding YIIK. That is actually false. I really do want to go watch the Dick Masterson Show podcast where he came on to defend himself and attack his.
Oh my god, yeah, that has to be
his opponents because
so bad.
Because man shows up on borderline red pilled Meninist podcast because at that point hadn't fully made the turn. Mm-hmm. It was like, it's a bit, guys. So anyways, that seems too interesting. It seems too interesting to hear that man on that show literally have that moment where he says they didn't understand it. Gamers are too stupid to understand what I made.
TK were just too stupid to understand stupid Earthbound. Okay.
Yeah, the amount of so Chris, you know how you know how when you play Freedom Planet, it's like, oh, this boss is just a treasure boss. It's like no longer Sonic. Okay, so imagine that, but it's just, oh, this is just wholesale ripped and unchanged from Earthbound. So things like Magicant and Gygas's Lair.
It's an indie RPG.
This is way more overt than it's ever been. Because it's just like, you get it? It's a reference.
Indie RPGs.
I look forward to your playthrough. Because this...
The Dick Master... on some level, I understand him having the initial meltdown on the Dick Masterson show, because I think he did that like before the game even came out, because everybody decided this game was ontologically evil like the second they saw it.
They were right.
Well,
but I can understand being like, my game isn't even out yet. Can you motherfuckers go away? That guy that looks like Yickman isn't even me. You made that up. Go away.
yeah, no, I get up being upset at those people.
I feel sympathetic to him. I understand what could make a person have a meltdown.
Yeah, but that's only one part of this puzzle. That completely ignores the part where he kept updating his game to change the writing and making it worse, and updating this game to change the mechanics to not improve them, and at no level understanding what is wrong with this fucking piece of art. Also, he's 100% convinced he's not the main character of this game anymore. And the fact he created this game and inserted a character whose tragic death is one-to-one with a real-life tragic death in order to make them the core of the story, and then elsewhere having a grave for Satoru Iwata, who died 19 years, I believe, after the point in time this game is just deranged levels of, what is your deal? Because, yeah, to me, before I came into this, oh, yeah, there's also Eris. They literally have Eris mourning over the grave of the person who's based on the real-life person who died tragically. Anyways, before I played this, I thought these were random one-off things that didn't matter and didn't keep coming back, but that is a core of the story the whole way through. And it honestly just gets worse as it continues to go. Because once again, the main character is just like, I'm better now. And then his friends go, you're better now. Well, let's get back to you being a piece of shit. Anyway, I'm done talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think I can say anything else about YIIK.
For anyone who doesn't get the title, let me explain. See, I played the game and it explained to me how to say the title. Ignore the fact that I read the title once and figured out how to read the title. It is a Roman numeral 2 for Y2K.
Everybody got it, man. I'm sorry. This is like Microsoft complaining people call it the X-Bone. Everybody knows what it's actually supposed to be. They call it YIIK because it's funny. And they probably started doing it more when you let people know that it bothered you.
Yeah.
It's okay, though. Microsoft learned from that experience with the X-Bone and just went, fuck you, we made a fridge.
Yeah, now everybody's confused and they owned us by reducing their sales from bad to nothing.
Oh, yeah? You're going to bully us? I simply won't be visible. Anyway, that's it for the YIIK talk. I'm fucking done talking about it. I cannot stress the level of which this is not an overreaction based on it's the latest thing I've played. I've been playing RPGs my entire life, and there is not one that is worse than YIIK. I compel you to find a worse RPG.
If there's anything, it's going to be Sonic Chronicles.
That's what everyone says, and I go, yeah, I get it.
That is just to brace you. Imagine combat almost the same, but every minigame uses a touchscreen.
Sonic Chronicles halfway through would have to be like, and then 9/11 happened. Let me relate 9/11 to my incredible narcissism and abuse of those around me for it to fucking step to this.
This is a BioWare game. Don't just say shit like that. You don't know them the way I know them.
If I don't see some twin towers fall in Sonic Chronicles, I'm gonna still give the award to YIIK.
Even if it uses a touchscreen, there's no way it can feel as bad. It's on the DS. Like, I've never played a DS game that felt this bad. I want to see it. I want to believe it'll be as bad as YIIK, but I can't see that world.
I'm singing chat. Oh God, Eggman hit the Pentagon.
I mean, that is Eggman does hit the Pentagon a couple times in the Sonic comics.
But that's different. It's comics. But yeah, anyways, that's it. I'm done talking about it. I played more Crow Country. Yo, did you know Crow Country is really good?
Yeah, it's a good game.
I also played Crow Country because Dan told me Chris play Crow Country. I'm like, okay.
Crow Country. I'm going to type it in and Chris can talk about it.
I need to look into the person who made this because my immediate thought after beating it is this person a fucking Resident Evil speedrunner?
You have to wonder because they fucking got it.
Well, they got it, and there's a lot because they talk about. You guys talked about last week how it doesn't have really slow animations on everything. Everything happens very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're running, you can fucking haul ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Through this game world.
Yeah, when you interact with any puzzle element, it's just an instant animation you can mash to do it again immediately. Like that, they get it.
With the way that talking to people works, I kind of don't think it's a speedrunner, though, because...
all of the talking is optional, except for a couple.
Yeah, but even those couple being there, I'm like, nah.
Also worth noting, you can bash X and circle to go through text, so it is just unreal levels of fast if you do that correctly.
I mean, being able to talk to people, like, Bug Fables is what I think it's called. Bug Fables.
Yeah,
was made by Paper Mario speedrunners, and that game that doesn't manifest as like, oh, there's all this shit you can skip. Oh, you don't have to. All this shit's optional. It manifests in we really are obsessed with the mechanics of Paper Mario, so here's a version of it that requires you to try more than not at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that being like that speedrunner brain can manifest in multiple. You can still make a normal game with that mindset. You don't instantly become Keiji Inafune, where it's like every game must have a scoring system. Don't you want to see how good a high score you can get at Azure Striker Gunvolt?
No. Just wanted to say something real quick, and I am genuinely sorry. Because of the shit in YIIK, I actually started to feel bad that Bob never played Earthbound. Holy shit, I don't want him thinking about YIIK when he finally fucking plays Earthbound. How dare he? Anyways, we're going back to Crow Country.
You're gonna have to do that on a stream pretty soon at some point, so Bob can purge the demon.
This was the first time that it actually felt bad. Every other time it's like, oh, that's like an Earthbound thing. Ha ha ha, how funny. This, it's like, fucking stop it.
Please, you need real context, not fucking YIIK. I find the main character of Crow Country delightful.
Yeah, Mara's great.
Have this little, it's like a fusion of Final Fantasy VII overworld character models with like wooden dolls.
Yeah,
and that's the aesthetic of all these characters. So just something about the way that looks makes the main character very delightful to look at.
Yeah, there are numerous shots and things that absolutely just go Final Fantasy VII at the camera, and I'm like, oh, that's a neat shot because the only two things I know of that use this are from the same company. It's Final Fantasy VII and Parasite Eve, which makes sense. This is a PS1 era inspired game, and it really nails it.
Yeah, Mara really does have a strong. We designed this character when we were coming up with the game, and then designed everyone else in this style.
This game is to Silent Hill 3 what Signalis was to Silent Hill 2.
Huh.
I need to play Signalis. I didn't realize it was going to be a long-term problem that I didn't play Signalis.
Yeah, I definitely think Signalis is one of those indie games that's going to be getting brought up in comparisons to other games for probably the next 20 years.
Yup.
But yeah, it's really good. Like, Crow Country is very good. It's not just like Resident Evil. Like, it's obviously inspired by PS1 Resident Evils. It's obviously inspired by Silent Hill. But it doesn't feel like, though, it's like a transformative referencing.
Yeah, it's a perfect fusion of the souls of those two things while making a different thing. Like, it's beautiful. They really fucking nailed it.
I will say, developer of Crow Country, you should try and figure out a way to make it so the camera doesn't completely 180 when I change areas, so holding the same direction makes me instantly go back to the area I was just in. That's part of why those old games had tank controls, and I don't want you to make to put tank controls in this game, but maybe you could have it detect like let's change the camera.
They do have tank controls. It's on the D-pad.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating thing to put both in the game. Aggro, do you have any opinions on this? I just don't know after last week's big thing. I was running through it again, while on the treadmill, mostly. Except for when I was suddenly not. And I too just ran into the couple times of running in the entrance I just left and going, God damn it, you guys. Also, Bob.
Yeah.
I discovered, I think I mentioned during our enormous Tony Hawk Pro Skater Marathon, which we will talk about in a moment, that the camera jumps. Mm-hmm. Like, instead of having like an interpolated full 360 degrees turn, it had jumping. What I realized was that was only for the final room of the game.
Okay, I was like, I didn't remember that anywhere in the game, but if it was the final room,
it was the final room. If you move and turn the camera at the same time, especially if you're running, it judders insanely.
Weird.
Yeah, because it's trying to bound it and also rotate in a way it doesn't in any other room. Mm-hmm. So that was what was up with that. Outside of that room, if you pan fast, it may look juddery just because the game decimates its resolution with its vintage look. Mm-hmm. Which one of the only games where I thought they really nailed that, because not only does it go for it sort of goes for an analog look, it also has like a digital video noise grain to it. Like the sort of effects you have with the bleeding columns from the top are the sort of things you would see on camera sensors where you boosted the brightness too much in post or the camera did it internally. They really did a good job on that. It's not often I see an aesthetic applied to a game and just go, oh, this is fine that I can't turn it off.
Right.
It's almost every time where I'm screaming and shaking the fence, turn it off! And a lot of other games we'd be talking about, the PC version is the version that gets because someone made a mod to turn that shit off.
Right.
And meanwhile, with this, it's like, no, it looks good.
I wonder if on the PC version it loads between areas more quickly.
Yeah, because it is weirdly long for PS5.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's not horrible, but it is like, why did that take 4 seconds?
It makes me think of like, do they intentionally make it longer so it felt like an older game? And
that's what I was starting to think.
Oh, this is on. I didn't know this had console versions already. I thought this was we're only on PC joint.
Huh?
No,
yeah. No.
Speaking
of which, wait. One sec.
To me.
I'm late on this. I'm really late on this. But by the way, fucking. Oh my God, where is
game code provided by
the publisher for me and Bob? No one else though. There we go.
I just bought it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm too busy buying a treadmill. That's a danger to my life.
But yeah, I thought it was weird if they intentionally made it long between the screens. There should have been
an animation,
like a door or a stair thing, like a Resident Evil would have. Like that's the only way I feel like that would have been excusable to do.
But Chris, did you have any last things you want to cram into this big thing before we probably talk about this game in depth later, at a later time?
It has really good sound design.
It does.
Yeah,
When you kill monsters, they often fall apart, and sometimes it almost sounds like a fucking xylophone as they collapse into pieces.
Yeah. Also, when you step on them when they're down, you just get a sound. That's.
I think that's killing them so they don't get back up. I think it's almost a reference to like the Silent Hill kick.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I wasn't sure that was the case, but I stepped on them all anyway, so there was no control group.
But yeah, I always love when a plank of wood hits the ground.
Yeah.
Harry and James kicks, not Heather's kicks. Heather's kick sucks. She's kicking a fucking dog like for 45 minutes before it refuses to get up.
Yeah, I appreciate that there was much combat in this, but it didn't feel as overburdened by combat like Silent Hill 3 did.
Yeah,
it does feel the same. There's so many of you motherfuckers.
Right, yeah. But yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, this is the Snipper Clips developer.
Snipper Clips, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. If for people don't know, that was a early on Switch game.
That was a Switch launch title with a 2D aesthetic that was cute, where you had to draw shapes and then solve puzzles by connecting with your friends and platforming and stuff. So when someone's like, "This is the Snipper Clips dev," I was like, "What do you mean?" Anyway, Anything else, Chris?
No.
Okay. Fuck it. I'm going to talk about it. It should be remembered. We did that 24-hour Tony Hawk Pro Skater Marathon. I'm like, we have so much time. We could just do all the versions of like the early games. And then very quickly I realized, holy shit, how have 9 hours passed? Uh-oh, this is a problem. I just beat 3.
Right.
So, we didn't get to play Proving Ground. We didn't get to play American Wasteland. We didn't get to play Underground 2. We didn't get to play the Game Boy Advance versions of any of them. We didn't play any of the Dreamcast versions of any of them. I think
Sounds
that's...
like we better do a second 24-hour Tony
It
Hawk marathon.
does sound like that. I wonder if that will be hidden somewhere else. I genuinely finished that 24-hour marathon and went, 1, I am never doing a 24-hour marathon within 48 hours of doing a 24-hour marathon again. 2, I need to do another 24-hour marathon of this soon. Weirdly enough, the songs that get us blocked worldwide isn't Superman by Goldfinger. It was, I think, Spokesman by Goldfinger, which is on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, and AC/DC's TNT.
Oh my god. That shouldn't even be in those games.
Those two,
just so we're clear.
Those 2 songs are the songs that got us blocked worldwide. So I went through and I chopped up everything past the first 8 hours into hour-long chunks and then told YouTube, mute that. Just mute that specific 3 minutes. And so, as far as I know, it is available, all of it, mostly worldwide right now.
That's kind of crazy.
It is. I never anticipated a day where that would be available for people to watch.
Do you ever think about how like bizarrely draconian these music companies got like within our lifetime?
Yes, no, I think about it constantly, and I think, wow, if only they hadn't done that, maybe they would be a sustainable industry that's healthy in the least.
Yeah.
Because I think about how, if you didn't know this, we watched Captain N twice for content. Each one of those episodes was supposed to have a licensed song. No, we only did it once, I think.
Yeah,
we Donkey Kong Country twice.
Yeah, I understand. I understand mixing those two. Yeah, Thriller wasn't an episode of Captain N originally.
It was supposed to be, but it wasn't because they had to take that shit out whenever they. The same thing happened to Daria.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happens all those shows.
Which you can find Daria recut with the original music on Twitter if you look hard enough.
It's still there. For love of God, just search tweets from GigaBoots that involve Daria. I am now going to do that to make sure that's okay to do. You'll find me quote tweeting it. I don't know how it's still there.
But I saw some other clips this week of like just a TV show, like a low budget kids show that had licensed music, and I'm like, maybe you guys need to pull your heads out of your asses and just let people have this shit more.
Yeah,
maybe you need to not be the biggest
indefinite.
dicks in the world when you put it let people put it into games. Like, do you think somebody's booting up a game to hear your licensed music that plays in a scene?
Absolutely.
Like, that's not happening.
Yeah, they're going to Twitch to watch someone play that segment of their game that plays that music. They're losing those sales.
They're going to Twitch to watch someone stream Burnout Revenge to listen to mindless self-indulgence.
It's pretty punk rock.
Yeah.
And that doesn't lead them to go buy mindless self-indulgent music.
No.
That leads them to having been fully satisfied, and that's all they ever need.
Contented.
Yes.
So they will not need it ever again.
Exactly.
I can't remember what video it was I was watching. But they were like,
didn't go out. Go ahead.
There was a time when you music fans would hear a song play and go, hey, remember that time we heard that song play? And then they go through the evolution of like releasing home versions. And I was like, yeah, no, that's totally how people act now. They hear music in a stream and go, that was great. I will never look into that or want it again.
Yeah, I definitely didn't buy multiple CDs after playing the PS2 Grand Theft Autos.
No one did.
No.
I definitely when EA got a specific song to be the title screen of Fight Night Round 3, the main menu of Fight Night Round 3. I definitely didn't go buy that song digitally after playing that game a bunch because I liked hearing that song. That didn't happen.
Yeah, Guitar Hero games never influenced any of the music I listened to or buy.
Shit.
Internet memes never affected me appreciating any song ever. As it turns out, every one of those cases, horrible leeching of the success and power of the music label. Not the artist. Fuck the artist. The music label.
They lost so much money to this Rick Ashley meme.
Yes. Definitely what happened specifically with that man. He definitely didn't get untold power from the internet a decade after that meme should have been dead in the earth. Anyway, Tony Hawk Pro Skater's real fucking good, and I cannot believe I went the whole 24 hours without saying the powerful sentence that is, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 is the Mega Man X3 of the Tony Hawk franchise.
That is how it seems.
It is just made for us freaks who want to chew leather. I acknowledge how it definitely affected their perception in the public space, how it is fucked up for a normal human to try to play, and at the same time, I enjoy playing it.
God, we had some sicko show up in chat where it's like, it's just a line. It's like the line that goes across this gigantic open world level.
Somebody's like, this goal doesn't look that hard. And I'm like, it is 44 pickups off of an entire level that is height-based, where you must perfectly time these jumps off of rails to other rails. Because if you land in the ocean, you then respawn somewhere where you're done. You cannot pick it up again. But yeah, they were like, it's just a line.
I feel like that Project 8 and Proving Ground also both became sicko shit in the same way, though.
No, because every goal in Project 8, you get to choose the level at which you engage with the goal.
That's true.
Yeah, that does a lot to make that game feel good and approachable.
But I just remember because I would, when I first played that game, I beat ass at Tony Hawk 1 and 2 and Underground. And it's like, I got 3 million points. Why am I only 5th in this competition?
It's because they made a fucked up and wrong system where it's like, hey, do the pre thing. What do they call it in racing? The lap you do ahead of time to set your time. That way they can adjust where you are. Anyone? Racing?
Damn it. I know that I know this, but since you asked.
Right.
Anyways, so basically... Qualifying lap, thank you. They do that for Tony Hawk, so it's like if you score within this score range in this practice 30 seconds, you get into this tournament or this tournament or this tournament. It's amateur, pro, sick. So Bob would get qualified for pro, and then the requirements of beating the goal for pro is like get this insane score. Fuck you.
Right.
And I'm like, Bob, you need to be like the world's shittiest employee. You need to open up with. I can't do anything. I'm a bum.
You did something. You're performing above expectations. That's good.
Right. Like literally for some reason, like they made those wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting for Project 8. That is a PS3 launch title. That is a next gen game made in 2006. It needs to be graded on the hugest curve in the world. And even without doing that, amazing game.
Yeah, God, please fucking, they won't, because Microsoft won't do anything for anybody. Just put it on your shit and make it run right. That's all that game needs to be perfect.
I went to go take a drink and then I see in chat, you got a quiet quit at Tony Hawk.
God.
But yeah, no, it's true. Microsoft, if they want to win the hearts and minds of gamers, they absolutely just need to do that. That's the one thing they need to do. Yeah, it's so fucking obvious. Fucking do it.
Like both Sony and Microsoft have completely forgotten what a PR win is.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even register in their brains anymore. Like they don't know what that is. In fact, going to Sony for a second, I'm pretty convinced that the reason Bloodborne isn't on PS5 fixed yet is because they haven't figured out how they should monetize that. Because that Demon Souls thing didn't do as good as they wanted. So they don't want to do that again, but just updating it for PS5, most people who want it own it already. So they don't make a lot of money that way. So they've just been paralyzed by that question, and they don't understand, like, no, you fucking do it, and then everybody's happy with you and will be more willing to buy other shit.
I'm wondering if that is the case, if the Demon Souls remake didn't do as well as they were hoping.
That they must have wanted more than like the million it sold. There's no way they didn't want more than that.
That's really sad.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it has the legacy of FromSoft. It's a big, expensive Blue Point remake. There's no way they weren't expecting more.
yeah, but it's a fucking launch title. Like,
It's launch title and just a direct remake. So it's
Right.
like, what are you doing?
like this is
of the one
this is a
that's-
15-year-old game or something? No, it was like 12. It was a 12-year-old game at that point.
Yeah.
But again, the legacy of FromSoft. Like, this is the first one, the first Souls game.
Maybe they should have
sure
taken
they
the lesson
expected that
instead of don't remake games that are still fairly new. Instead, we've gotten
sure fucking lesson they should have taken.
Yeah, no, like, where the fuck is our polished remake of Ape Escape 1 or anything that old? Except for Medieval.
Well-
That's the only one that doesn't qualify, just so we're clear.
Well, they can't figure out how to put that in the metaverse yet.
Okay, it sold over 2 million units. Somebody just posted that in chat, like the link and everything.
okay.
That
So-
still doesn't seem like enough.
But it's not Bloodborne numbers. Like, as we found out later, Bloodborne sold insanely.
Like
and-
7, yeah.
yeah. And it was like,
So I just imagine Jim Ryan being like, well, it won't make us a lot of money no matter what we do. So what's the point of doing it?
Yeah, and investing in your brand isn't something that makes the number go up in a way that these aliens can understand.
right.
God, how is Nintendo the only company that understands that?
Are we getting a price cut on the PS5 by the end of this year? Because they're fucking dead if they don't.
Yeah, they have
There's no way they won't announce a price cut when they announce the PS5 Pro.
Or they write out one more holiday season at 500 because they're stupid, and then they have to price cut right before the Switch 2 comes out next year.
If they don't price cut by the end of this year, they won't price cut but for the Switch 2. They just won't. They won't give a shit. They'll believe themselves built different and get proven very brutally wrong.
You're right. If they don't price cut by the end of this year, they would go, I won't lose.
I'm like, if they don't price something this year, I feel like they're just dead in the water.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think they're
completely.
planning to. I think after the Switch 2, like after the announcement.
As a reactive move.
Yeah, they're going to scramble to get the price cut out.
I don't know. They missed their sales goal, so I imagine like they missed their 2023 sales goals. So I imagine they might be like, we should cut the price so we can make our sales goals.
Right. That's what a rational company would do and what I
Right.
expect them to do. But they are confoundingly stupid this gen, but a
And
lot
we-
of that has been Jim Ryan.
No,
We
it's
have
cool.
gotten reports lately of them going, yeah, people aren't adopting the PS5 as fast as we thought they would.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but I didn't think we would have a transition to it at all. Yeah, it was something like half of their monthly active users are still on PS4. And I'm like, hey, people who don't understand why we say the Switch 2 has an opportunity to rip away a lot of Sony's user base.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if somebody doesn't have a PS5 yet, they can go directly to the Switch 2 and not lose anything. So which means, Sony, you better provide something they get by coming to PS5, which you mostly haven't.
We have a $550 headset you can buy.
We have
You
a
could do
PS5
VR.
Pro that costs $700. Does it run games better? No. Because they already run at 60. So
Did you cut the price of the PS5? Technically, no, but we bundled it with a couple of digital codes for games that are years old, so it's like a price cut.
Wow, I have no interest in those games. That provided no value.
If you think about inflation, really, it's now cheaper than it was then when it first launched. That's how it works, right?
I have heard people argue that.
The funny thing is, as Bob said that, I was just imagining this is Jim Ryan in a Walmart worker uniform explaining this to me in an electronics department. He's like, well, if you actually think about it, with inflation and all, it's actually cheaper than it was in 2020. And I'm like, you're Jim Ryan, aren't you? And he's like, oh, you got me. Oh, was it the scones? And there's just scones on the fucking electronics counter. Jesus. He tried.
Man, that's a lot cuter and friendlier than I imagined standing next to Jim Ryan being.
That's why it's a fictional reality. Tony Hawk Pro Skater fucking whips. I love that fucking franchise. It was so great to see so many people come out, maybe because they were afraid of the timer going down. But maybe they all woke up to justice and went, Tony Hawk Pro Skater is pretty great.
Maybe Sunday is just where all the Tony Hawk fans are. It's just like, oh man, I'm here for a Tony Hawk stream on Sunday only.
Everyone's showing up and not forgetting the Joker. We played the N64 versions of some of the Tony Hawks, and oh my god, the amount of this normal song made by humans, released as a song, has been recreated by a 13-year-old with 5 yak backs. That soundtrack is where it's just button, 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 button. They couldn't, you need to understand how jarring it is. They needed the opening of that song. Is it going, but it already would have ended the segment and looped it harshly. So it would have gone, and that's every song.
Yeah, it just makes them seem insane. Like, especially that Don't Forget the Joker one, which is Ace of Spades. I didn't know that song, the line was even in that song.
Which is funny.
Right. So when the song basically has that line repeated like 10 times throughout
because they cut so many other lyrics.
Right?
So chat's just yelling, and they are still yelling in Big Thing chat right now. And don't forget the Joker, because he would go straight into that from nothing.
Yeah, go into that. He didn't even say Ace of Spades.
Yeah, he doesn't go, and gambling is for fools, but that's the way I like it. No, he just goes, and don't forget the Joker, out of nowhere.
That, and then what we found out they edited out for the GameCube was so funny.
Okay, so it's actually one of my favorite songs of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 soundtrack. It's Redman. Motherfucker talks about, he was fresh and new. What was it? Fresh and black like the new PlayStation 2, I believe is the line. I'm always terrible at remembering. They censored PlayStation 2 on the GameCube release.
That's really funny. That reminds me of like how how Insomniac devs were like, we wanted to just have Ratchet have a PS2 in Ratchet 2 when you go to like his apartment at the beginning, but we had to change it because Sony said you can't destroy the PS2 for bolts. You're not allowed.
God damn it.
That's so unbelievably funny.
That's so dumb.
So, they often censor those songs because they're dropping a slur or saying a curse. So it's really funny when he's like, I'm fresh and black like the new. And I'm just like, if I had a GameCube growing up, I would just be sitting there confused. I'd be like what? Did his analogy get weird? It would just make me flashback. I forget who it was, but there was a host on Saturday Night Live who one time had an opening monologue so bad that when they went to re-air it, they didn't show the monologue. They cut to a screen of text where the SNL cast apologized for how homophobic, racist, and other things his opening monologue was.
Yeah, who was that?
People are saying it was Martin Lawrence. Was it? Yeah, I guess. Multiple people.
Wow.
So, yeah, as a kid, I was like, yo, what the fuck did he say?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's all I could think of. So, anyways, that's where my headspace would be. Because, reminder for the level of stupid Kid Me is, I listened to the song by Eminem where he says, I'd drink more liquor to fuck you up quicker than you would fuck me for saying the word. And for a decade or two, I was like, what rhymes with quicker? Because I was very literal on the sound. It never occurred to me. And I was like, oh, Eminem's right, because he's what? Okay, yeah, that... So, of course, as a kid, I would have played the GameCube version of this and gone, I have no earthly idea what that could have been. I would have been lost for decades until someone went, hey, check it out. I own it on PS2. And I went, PS2 isn't a curse word. Anyway. Any other comments on Tony Hawk?
No, Tony Hawk is good. They should make more Tony Hawk, but they never will.
Only a fucking moron would not make more Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
God, it's so fucking infuriating how fucking Activision pulled their shit out of the fires. Like, here's Crash 4 and Tony Hawk 1+2. Both sold a lot. We directly referenced in financials how they saved our year because they did so well. We decapitated both studios that made those and killed the IPs again because we only Call of Duty, all matter Call of Duty. I can't wait till you fucking miss a year and fucking.
Are we covering the Call of Duty thing? We're covering the Call of Duty thing.
Is there something to cover?
Yes. And we will cover that in news. We'll cover what there is to cover in news. But that's it for me. That's all I've been playing. As it turns out, it takes up a lot of your time when you do 2 24-hour gaming marathons within 60 hours. I think is what it ended up being.
Yeah, it's rough.
I have never been cast into a spiral sleep schedule-wise quite as hard as I was this time.
I bet.
I slept 15 hours the day after that, and the day after that, I slept 12. One of those, the 15 hours, one session. The 12 hours, it was 8 and then another 4 because very quickly I grew that tired again.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was something. And once again, my number one regret about doing that was, man, I can't believe doing the YIIK stream, which took 24 hours, left me in a state where I was weakened for the amazing marathon that was Tony Hawk. Which only really started to matter in the last hour. But even still.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, what's up?
Did you play other...
I managed to get some things in because a ton of things I wanted to try came out this week.
Tell him to stop.
Yeah. I didn't even get to play all the things I wanted to play, of course. But I did try out XDefiant, the new
XDefiant. Singular or is it
XDefiant?
Okay,
it's XDefiant.
Just one.
No, XDefiant. I'm sorry, XDefiant.
Bob.
Look, Bob.
There's a reason we just call it XD-RAR.
Right.
I'm like, Bob, what game did you play? Say the name. And he goes, Tom Goes to Narrative. So how's XD-RAR?
XD-RAR is...
First off, let's cover what it is.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft's game that's trying to be a mix of Call of Duty and Overwatch that has all their IPs crossing over to fight each other.
And it used to be Tom Clancy's, but isn't anymore, and now it's like...
Even though it has, like, you got the factions. And some of the factions are like, Division, Tom Clancy's The Division, the faction. They will say it like that. They will have Tom Clancy's name in there, but he's no longer attached to the game itself.
Okay. Is Rayman in it?
No, Rayman isn't in it. It's only the realistic factions. In the Division one, it's literally those the guys who burn everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the drunk. They're not junkers.
I don't fucking
know. They're garbage men who went insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have For Honor people?
No. Only modern military realistic stuff.
Is there an Abstergo faction?
No, but there is a Watch Dogs faction. Watch Dogs 2 faction. No others.
What the?
What?
Yeah, right?
Wouldn't Legion make more sense?
Shut up.
Okay. Yeah.
No one played that.
Sorry. Not even me, and I bought it.
Right.
Do you think that has an uncapped frame rate so the PS5 Pro might be able to run the ray trace version well? That would be neat.
That'd be real neat.
I will be right back.
It also has, oh my god, the Splinter Cell faction. Any
Raw faction?
I don't remember. There should be. Oh yes. I think there is a Ghost Recon faction because that's the one I ended up using a lot because they have shields, which are kind of OP.
You get to play as the cult from Far Cry 5.
Oh man, there is something from Far Cry 5. I don't think it's a cult though. God, I should have written these all down because they're all like, what do you mean? What? That doesn't seem right. Like, you probably should have given us another couple passes before you just went with, this is the entire faction. There's only 5 of these, and this is what made it in. But yeah, this whole game, it plays like Call of Duty, where everyone has really quick time to kill, and it's all modern military weapons and pretty samey. But for some reason, it has, like the main game mode seems to be the Overwatch push the ejector, push the payload thing. So it's a bunch of running to the payload and people dying instantly. And everyone has powers because they are from these different factions that have things like the firemen, or not the firemen, the cleaners from the Division. They have a thing where you would think they'd show off, you have a firebomb ability, and you think you show that out, right? No. You light yourself on fire and you have an AoE of fire around you.
Yep.
Did they do that in the game? That seems insane.
I mean, I did a lot of shooting the tanks on their backs and they exploded. I don't think that was an offensive technique on their part.
But yeah, they have really like really normal down to earth powers. Like seemingly that's the idea. So you have the Splinter Cell character that can go invisible, and then you can shoot once you become visible again, and that's on a recharge, and that's their big thing. Like it's so weird. Like I don't even think this game feels that bad or anything, but it does feel like it's literally, what if Overwatch wasn't cool and didn't feel as good as Call of Duty or Overwatch? Like you're getting yourself compared directly against these two games, which are pretty darn well made. So when you come in with something that's fairly good, it doesn't feel as good.
And yet at the same time, it feels like that has been Ubisoft's fucking bit seemingly the whole fucking time.
I know.
Is every time they're like, here's our open world. I mean, once again, we just talked about how Assassin's Creed Ghost of Tsushima is like gonna happen the same year possibly as Ghost of Tsushima 2. Which is the roughest comparison
they'll come
possible.
out within the same 12-month stretch. It just depends on where that 12 months is. Is it actually 2024 or is it like October 2024 to October 2025?
Right. And that's a rough comparison.
Yeah, right. If Ghost isn't launching the end of this year, it could easily launch the early next year. Even.
Yeah, it could be a first half of a year game. That Sony has tended to do that until COVID and all those live service games completely fucked up their pipeline of releasing more than one game a year.
That's
not true, Dan. This year they're releasing no games.
They got Helldivers, and
Helldivers isn't really... That would normally be a thing they released in addition to other games.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The moment I realized XDefiant was probably cooked is when I went looking for impressions, and all I could find is Call of Duty guys going, based, it doesn't have skill-based matchmaking.
Oh.
What?
Because that's the thing that Call of Duty players all complain about now.
Yeah, COD players just bitch that MMR exists.
Oh my god.
That's been a thing for the past few years, and I don't understand why. Why do they just want to massacre a bunch of people who stand no chance against them?
Like I don't know how you hear yourself say that shit out loud.
Right?
And like I get wanting to play a game and have it be easy. That's a whole thing. That's a whole genre. Like that is a necessary. You're fucking playing a competitive online game and you're complaining that the matchmaking isn't catering to you winning out loud in front of people.
Right.
What is wrong with your brain?
I mean, these are the same kind of people that play League of Legends. Like, I'm platinum rank, but I made an alternative account to go back down to bronze. Just to slaughter people.
It's like stop being an idiot and just smurf. Like, you can get your weird...
Smurfing is hard on consoles.
It is, because you have to make an account for the PlayStation Network over and over again, because you should be able to play...
You have to pay a monthly fee over and over again.
I think if it's your console and your main account has PlayStation Plus, I think the other accounts can still play online as long as you're not also doing that. Or actually, maybe even if we haven't even tested that use case.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess the way we would test that, okay, is we need to get some other account that isn't... Let me think about this. I would play as you, and then you would play as Tosh on mine, my PS5, and then we could test if that's true. We need to do that. I should write that down on a sticky note. Hilarious fact, I found a shitload of sticky notes in one of the totes I went through to finally make this place presentable. I don't have any pens. Tosh has all the pens. I don't have anything to write anything with. So even though I've put the sticky notes on my desk, they're meaningless.
Right. You can put a sticky note on something to remind you need to remember something. Who knows what?
I remember that I was supposed to remember.
Yes.
But yeah, that's those people are losers.
Yes, absolutely. High grade. It's going to be really funny when this actually implements the systems that make them upset, because it almost certainly will.
Dude, I hate having to try out a video game. Well, check this out. The reason you ended up at the rank you are and getting matched against the people you are is because you're trying really hard, right? Yeah. Stop trying, and then continue to stop trying long enough to fall out of that rank.
What I have heard alleged, I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know, is that it has invisible matchmaking. So if you get on a hot streak, it will put you with people who will beat your ass for like an hour. And that is what people complain about. But I don't know. I haven't played it. So like you do really well 2 or 3 matches in a row, suddenly you're in the ass beat dimension for like an hour.
I don't trust those people in the least. And 2, hey, did you see that Sakurai video that's came out where he was like, the margin for the best character in Smash and the worst character in Smash across all matches ever played online is less than 4 whole %.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, do not trust people who talk about video games competitively on the internet. At least not by default.
People argue a lot about horseshoe theory. If you don't know what horseshoe theory is, it is the idea that the 2 extremes of any kind of ideology are functionally very similar. It is mostly used in an extremely stupid way about like the left wing and the right wing. But I think it is true about people who really hate a game and people who are completely obsessed with the game.
Well, yeah. Like
you
the
can't
middle...
listen to either of them. They're both insane.
Yeah. You need someone who's detached at all. Right? Someone who isn't completely drowning in their relation with the game.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you tell me that Devil May Cry 4 is better than 5 because it has momentum, I'm just going to never listen to anything you say ever again. I'm just going to stop acknowledging you. I'm just going to, like, you will disappear from my version of reality. I will become incapable of perceiving you.
Is this a thing people say? 4 is better than 5 because it has momentum.
Mm-hmm.
That game where they had to patch the special edition to make it so you could run faster?
Well, that's not the momentum they're talking about.
What are they talking about?
They're talking about the insane stuff around how you can make Dante fly.
In 4?
In 4, yeah. And teleport everywhere. Yeah, it's real dumb. Okay. It's all this insane, like, no, you've accepted too much.
Okay.
And interpreted something that wasn't intentional even.
It is.
Like
I played Devil May Cry 4 for a decade.
Uh-huh.
I can't stand anything deviating from it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like if Street Fighter 5 had been 10 years of Street Fighter 5, and then Street Fighter 4 came out, and people were like, "They changed too much. It's bad."
Yeah.
Anything else to say about XDefiant?
Not really. Like, I didn't play all that much of it. I only did a few matches and was like, this seems kind of neat. I have no idea how you're going to monetize this. It already looks kind of disgusting because I can see the season pass and how it looks like I don't get anything unless you pay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's always great.
Well, the game was free.
Right?
So.
Pay up.
Yeah. Did you play anything else?
Yes. I finished Overwatch, Unicorn Overlord. Overwatch Unicorn? What is this game?
That's the new character.
That's going to be the next hero. Yeah, it's going to be the next hero.
They're gay, by the way. It's just not...
all their lines will reference Robot Unicorn Attack, the most fucking notable and modern of things to reference.
Their ultimate is to change genders. Their battle cry is what the new gender is.
Cool. The day they're released, like, everybody at Microsoft will be arrested.
I was like, there's a joke about why they would release this character and announce them and rush their development and everything. Where's the joke? They literally all get arrested. Phil Spencer's arrested and they announce the new omni-gender unicorn character for Overwatch.
They've had this character in a glass box ready to go in case of dire emergency. And the morning it happens, they're like, oh, fuck, the feds are on their way. Deploy the unicorn. Some intern runs to the office. Oh, my God, the unicorn's voice actor just got canceled.
Oh no!
That would be so good. That would be the best timeline ever. That would be that'd be so good.
Also, some guy named Cole Cassidy went to prison. We have to change McCree's name again. Black Lives Matter Boulevard will be real.
Yeah.
Finally, a character I can play and feel respected.
God.
Oh, man, I occasionally think I need to check back in on Overwatch because they have made so many characters since I stopped playing that every time I've ever been presented with them, I went, that looks like a bootleg Overwatch character.
Yeah.
Like, it clearly doesn't have the art style it would need to be. What do you mean that's the latest Overwatch character? Too many times. It's happened too many times.
Some part of me is like, did they actually release any of those, or just keep threatening us with art?
Dude, they're like 3.
Okay.
I swear to God, there have been 3 since 2020 or something.
Probably.
Whenever 2 launched, whenever that was, 2021, I guess, 2022. Bob.
Yeah, what's up?
Unicorn Overlord does not feature a unicorn that can use its ultimate to change genders.
No.
But it is a game you play. Do you have anything to say?
I finally finished it. Those near the end, they start having insanely derangedly long battle sequences, which is what it's supposed to evolve into. So I'm not complaining, but oh man, it is like, yeah, this is going to take over an hour.
Good.
Yeah.
I like a strategy game that builds up to that moment. It doesn't just start in that moment.
Yes. I really appreciate that every time with vanilla where they're like, no, it's all wrapped up. Everything is wrapped up. Drop it. Like, we've answered every question. Get out.
Yeah, I really respect people who do that in the original entry instead of with Metal Gear Solid 4 in ways that no one asked for.
Yeah. Right.
That is the correct way to do it.
Yeah, just move on.
You
It's
left out.
over.
You left out the unnecessary ways they did it in 5.
Well, you know why that is.
Because you choose not to think of 5.
I played 8 hours of 5 and went, yo, this is neat. This is not a Metal Gear Solid game. I don't know what the fuck they made here. I'm good.
I played like 30 hours of 5, and then I'm like, I kind of never want to think about this ever again.
And unfortunately, that is going poorly, I see, right?
I mostly succeed. The only times I really think about Metal Gear Solid 5 now is, one, just how funny Robin Atkin Downs is as Miller. Just fucking screaming. 2, whenever somebody brings up Venom Snake, I think of Senor Card Gauge. His mumble speak. And I think of, like, you sure wrote a thing that makes Metal Gear Solid 3 worse.
That sure is what he kept doing.
Yeah, he keeps doing that.
Man, Fizzant is going to be so good because it won't have any past to ruin.
No, but based on Death Stranding 1 alone, I bet there will be a way where it becomes Metal Gear Solid 4 by the end anyway. Man, Fizzant, one of the only things you can look at and go, so Sony does care about continuing to make things that anyone would come to their platform for. Okay, that's good to know.
Right.
Not just Horizon games.
But yeah, Unicorn All Over is great. You should all play it. There's no one who shouldn't play it.
Yeah, you dummies. Why aren't you playing it? You know what I should do?
What's that?
Isn't Unicorn Overload also on the Switch?
It is.
Just buy it on the Switch and bring it to the gym.
Oh,
Yeah.
By the way, Unicorn Overlord is on sale for $40 on Amazon.
Just buy it. And then I don't even have to open my Insane Edition for the PS5. But then I don't get the trophies. But then again, I stopped caring about trophies like a decade ago easily.
Right.
Yeah, that time's out. Yeah, about, yeah.
Dan, you're aware it was more recent than a decade ago when you got all the trophies on both versions of Jak and Daxter on PS4 and PS.
But that's
right?
a fun excuse to go through those and do that. You know, I don't sit there and go, you need to understand, there's a world of difference between I enjoyed this game and I get to play all these different versions of it comprehensively to get these trophies, and I am needing to learn the specific tech in a bad port of Final Fight on the PS3 in a downloadable game in order to get the score high enough to get one trophy. I'm doing entire playthroughs of a game hoping I could get one trophy, and it's broken. I still don't have the Dragon's Crown Platinum just because you have to do a full playthrough as a wizard, which I never did.
Yeah. I was like, I did not get the Platinum on it for Unicorn Overlord, but I might.
This is, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the distinction between someone with a porn addiction and someone who jacks it a lot. Would I like some trophies? Sure. Is my life being ruined by trophies? Hell no.
But yeah, I was tempted to get it on Switch as well because it ran pretty well in that demo. And it would have been nice, like, if I had it for a trip or anywhere.
Right.
Anything like that. Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. What?
It does, because you get to choose a wife, it does write something for each of those. I have only seen the one that I chose, and I thought it was very funny what they did with that, but I won't spoil it.
Okay. Cool. Man, I'm gonna have to get the Switch version and go to the gym a shitload to play it. That way we can get to that spoiler cast.
Jesus.
Hopefully our co-host remembered the game.
I also tried out Akuma in Street Fighter 6.
Oh, okay.
Akuma's really cool.
Fact.
Yeah, like they
Always
gave him
is.
all sorts of crazy new moves. He now has, he has the thing where he dashes across the screen in the shadow sort of step.
Yeah.
They added his thing so he can throw out of that. So he has a really cool, like, teleport around them throw.
Oh my god.
That's
deranged.
Yeah, no, it's got lots of cool stuff. Looks incredible. He has a thing where he, like, a special move where he punches and his hand turns into fire.
Oh, damn.
And then it can be, like, comboed into different things. Like, he then follows up with uppercut, so he knocks him up or just knocks him back.
Oh, that's good.
That's
real good.
It's so cool.
We should play Street Fighter 6 after this.
But
of course,
also
I got to go live 6 hours with Gamer Gone Rep to kill the timer before tomorrow.
Right?
There's also a hidden boss mode you can activate that nobody ever will in an actual match because it involves doing like 8 seconds of taunt.
Oh.
Because he has a taunt where he sits down, and if you do an input as he would normally get up from sitting down, he pulls out a rice ball, eats it, and becomes Shin Akuma, so his air fireball becomes double.
Oh my god! That is the coolest fucking shit I've ever heard!
He gets like a new super move. And he gets like a move where he like shoots up into the sky and like comes down on you with like a karate chop. I don't know if there's any other way to activate this state.
Yeah, I didn't know that
people found like if you sit down and then you do this, he eats the rice ball and
that's incredible.
It turns on.
Yeah, because in the Battle Hub, which is their online thing, you can fight Shin Akuma. Like they just have the card units to do that. So I didn't know you could actually activate it in a round though.
Holy shit, Shin Akuma is like the coolest. Oh my god. Man.
Yeah, he's so cool.
He's so fucking cool, man.
I was thinking like what character could Capcom add to Street Fighter 6 that would instantly suck all momentum out of the game and just make everybody decide it was lame, and I realized who they could add. Nikali.
Devour hour.
He sucks so bad. He sucks.
He's
awful.
They'd have to reinvent him so completely. I don't know if they even could. Like, I don't know what you do.
Wow.
Man, remember Street Fighter 5's cool story mode where he gets Hadokened once and then just dies?
I think that's so good. There's something that made that incredible about... No, he's the character who's here to be vaporized by Ryu as he realizes what his true potential. Like, I think it's really funny that your main build you put in.
Does Ryu in 6 have like the ultra, like a mode that turns him into the Ultra Instinct shit from 5 that he learned in 5? Or is that supposed to be what like Denjin mode is?
Maybe that's the idea.
Sorry.
Because he has new moves in it, so they gave him like that weird close range Hadoken thing and stuff to make him seem different than last time. But they didn't go crazy and make him like Shimakuma tier or anything.
I need to get into Street Fighter 6 again. I keep meaning to because I wanted to play it when Ed came out, but I just don't every time I feel like I should do it, I don't, and then the moment passes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. Now that I've heard shit about Akuma, now that Akuma's out, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm back in. Yeah, absolutely.
They also did this thing in the Battle Hub where there's a gigantic Akuma in the middle of the arena.
Mm-hmm.
And you do any number of fights, like ranked or otherwise, in that Battle Hub. You can then go up to a place in it and charge a Hadoken. Like everyone in the Battle Hub can go up there and charge with you, and you all shoot a big Hadoken at the big
That's
Akuma.
awesome!
Like this is good stuff.
Oh, that's sick. I saw someone in chat say Third Strike's OST is now in 6.
Yes, they also had the ability to get songs from all sorts of different other Street Fighters. Like it has basically every entry.
Oh my god.
You have to spend either in-game currency or real money, though.
I'm sorry. I'm a mark.
Right.
I need that Third Strike music.
Luckily, I had enough of drive tickets built up so I could just go get the Third Strike music immediately.
Cool.
Because I think a lot of people have made fun of the new Akuma theme, and it's like, yeah, it's not great. So I immediately turned into the Third Strike one.
Yeah, that's understandable. I have to wonder what I would think.
Yeah.
Because I like a lot of the music in 6.
Yeah, I think a lot of the music in 6 is neat.
I think 6 is really great. It's unfortunate that last year had so many great games that didn't even have a chance of appearing on my top 10.
Right.
Maybe VR didn't come out. It would have placed on my top 10, frankly.
Maybe.
People are like, what do you mean VR came out? And I'm like, oh, sorry. Have I not recently said that PSVR 2 is the minimum threshold for acceptable VR? And that my number one thought with the Quest 3, if I was to get it, is what if it's worse?
Right.
And so it slips back into that black hole of this sucks to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a true fear.
One fear. $500 fucking headset. Oh my god. Scary as shit.
Yeah.
That's a scary decision. Yo, did you know it's a lot easier to buy shit like that if it's not $500 fucking dollars?
Mm-hmm.
PS5?
Yeah.
You fuck. For some reason I want mics to close being like, Jim Ryan, you fuck.
I saw those edits for Neil Druckmann today a lot.
Really?
Yes.
Okay,
just heading him into the corner of them yelling like, nobody wants to hear this from you.
You hack.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Man, he wants to be Kojima so fucking bad, and he's determined to torch all goodwill he's ever earned in the futile attempt at becoming him.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I played,
good. Okay.
Wuthering Waves came out. This is a new Genshin-like from another Chinese company. I can't remember the name right now. But it's the first one that I'm like, oh, this is actually, this could compete with Genshin. Like, oh, everything feels pretty good.
Oh, damn.
It does have, like all of these have the problem of, it starts out really cool world, but unnecessary huge lore dumps. It's just like, oh man, this is not moving. But when you let me play, it's really cool. So it's big open world action RPG, has a much more higher focus on combat. You have like last second dodges, like you do counterattacks. They have a system where enemy will have a circle appear around them as they're doing an attack. If you hit them before that circle connects, like it's doing a time mini game. And you can do a counterattack, so you can stop them from attacking. Mm-hmm. It's got just lots of cool moves. When you switch between characters, which you have 4 characters at once, they do like an attack as they come in, so you can set up strategies going between the characters to get different kinds of combos. It's got a lock-on system, something Genshin really kind of needs. Yeah, it's really cool. It also, they overhauled movement too, so you can run up basically any wall. Like there's no slow Breath of the Wild climbing. You just run.
So it's like Genshin, huh? I'm looking at images of this and I can't even tell.
Right. It is also set in the like a mystical ancient China, but with sci-fi stuff. So if you've been to the second zone in Genshin, does look a good bit like that, but they match more science fiction.
So you're playing this on PS5, right?
No, it's actually currently only on PC and mobile devices.
And mobile devices.
So I'm playing the PC version.
I find it very funny that the screenshot clearly has PC inputs, but it has new phone 1610.
Huh.
Because, PC's been doing 1610 for a bit.
Yes. It also just directly recognized my DualSense immediately. Like all the buttons show up as proper X, Y, or X square circle.
Actually, this is just cropped from the looks of it.
Yeah, it does look kind of
because the top's missing shit. Also, this would be more like an 18:9 like phones. I'm reversing my ratios. Ratios are hard.
Whoa.
Did you know numbers are hard?
I know. And I didn't even have to try and make YIIK.
Bob, could you imagine you just quit on balancing your game as hard as YIIK Man did?
I cannot, actually.
You have a 1080 Ti. How did it run on that?
It ran really well.
Okay.
And then I looked at it, it's like, you're on medium settings. It's like, this looks incredible. What do you mean on medium settings? I meant to look up what they made it in. I'm wondering if it's Unreal or not.
It never occurred to me to compare the Switch 2's power to the 1080 Ti. Like, never once. Like, because the Switch 2 is going to be less powerful than that. But
okay.
I wonder by how much.
This is Unreal 4 for the record.
Okay. That makes sense.
We sure don't have a justification for Unreal 5.
Man,
what? Wait, actually, I don't know that. I'll only know that after tomorrow's stream.
Right.
Of Hellblade versus Stellar Blade Flop Swap. Because one of these is Unreal 4, and the other one's Unreal 5.
And one is obviously going to be better. It looked better in every way, I'm sure.
And I'm sure it's the Unreal Engine 5 one.
Absolutely. Man, they gave me 3 characters so far, which I've only played like probably an hour. The first 2 are like use quick draw katanas. And I'm like, wow, just out right out of the gate, you couldn't resist having 2 characters like this.
Yeah, that's too cool.
And then the third one I got was dual pistols, which I did not get to actually play them in combat yet, other than just running around the world shooting randomly instead of attacking enemies. So I don't know how that's going to feel exactly. But it was pretty cool. You also have something I super didn't expect. A soul system like Aria of Sorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Seemingly every enemy can just drop their soul, and then you can use that as a summon attack. And also...
That's okay. I can't grind them in order to make it more powerful, right? Please?
They all can level up. I don't know exactly how, but I think it's going to be the more typical... Genshin style leveling up, where it's like get all the materials, shove them into that soul, and make it more powerful.
Trying to end my life.
And the souls are there not only as the attack, but also they seem to be the replacement for equipment. Like you have 4 slots or so that aren't even ones to use as attack; they're just ones that buff your stats.
Ooh,
so that's interesting.
It is.
And then there's also still new weapons you can get, which I haven't gotten to how you do that yet. I haven't unlocked any of the gacha mechanics yet. I can't talk to how that works.
Okay.
But I'm super excited to play more of this.
How much time would you say you've put in?
Probably around an hour.
Okay.
But that was a ton of cutscenes. I probably only did like 30 minutes of actually playing because there's so much just opening. We're going to walk you around the world and talk about it and how crazy it is. Like the entire world's made out of sound. What does that mean? You have this gourd, it absorbs souls. Yours is fancy.
Hey, girl, your soul's fancy. She's like, he's looking at my feet already. That's not good.
That reminds me, the Nikkei ads are getting more deranged.
Really?
Now they're like, just look at this girl's feet.
They're like, we got the other markets. We're gonna try to get everything we can.
And I'm like, is this gonna be what the next Stellar Blade is? Or is there gonna be any DLC that remove her shoes?
I could turn this into a really weird social experiment.
Uh-huh.
I consider it a social experiment. Maybe it's just a normal experiment, but it seems so devious and terrible. What if I got one of those mounts to put my phone on my DualSense and I played this game, Wuthering Waves, while at the gym? That way I'm playing something for the podcast and giving mobile gaming a chance.
Yeah, I should try the mobile version, see if it directly connects to my account and if that's easy. Because if it is, that'd be neat to just be able to play that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect. Huh.
Yeah.
So you could just do it here and
right? That'd be cool. But yeah, the game feels good, and that's
important.
Turns out.
That's okay. I'm sure Hellblade also feels great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna feel great.
I watched so many combat videos that all look identical.
I know. When I saw the tweet going around of like, have you ever seen combat this realistic? And I'm like, I don't think that means what
it looks like fucking Mountain Blade, the game from 20 years ago.
The funny thing is that's more realistic because in this you see the animations repeat dozens of times. She holds the sharp sword with her bare hands constantly, and all sorts of other things. It's like, no, this isn't realistic at all. The dude takes like 13 hits. Like,
it's
realism isn't what you think it is. It's more than just visuals.
Have you ever seen combat that looks this good?
Realism is when something is slow and shitty.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen combat that looks this good? And I'm like, well, I mean, at the point of how scripted that is, yeah, I've seen a movie.
Right. Man, I'm so excited for tomorrow.
So excited for tomorrow. We hope you are too.
The art style in Wuthering Waves is pretty cool too. It's like got all the characters do kind of look like they fit in the same height and body type, but they do have some neat designs. Like one of the first girls you get is her hair is like turning into wings.
Oh, always a good aesthetic.
And yeah, that's neat. And that's all I gotta say about Wuthering Waves. It's free to play. Give it a shot.
Bob, do you know that girl's name? No reason. I just need to do some research.
It's all English voice acted, but they like must have someone in there who's really good at teaching them Chinese pronunciations.
Oh,
they need to nail that over and over again.
It's really important when you have someone who actually is familiar with the language and can speak it.
Right?
To oversee
it took
things.
Genshin a while to get that, I think. They were pretty bad near launch, and then they got better at having people say things correctly.
Mm-hmm. And this leads with a ton of things that are in Chinese.
Every time the dude from Gamers Nexus just goes from speaking English into saying correctly Chinese names of manufacturers and other things, I'm just like,
right?
Good Lord.
It also does a really funny thing that I've seen in like hiragana and stuff where word in subtitles with little text above it to tell you know what it is. So it's like Prime Minister, leader. Like, what? I think that we could have gotten that.
Huh.
Dude, English needs furigana for pronunciation and in context meaning. We need to get that going.
It could be fun. Control was a good time.
Yes. Unironically, yes, that is how English should be written.
I'm stealing that idea.
That just makes me think of like all the fan translations of visual novels where they like have it they do that when a character's like actually calling someone a slur.
I see. But that was it for all you played, right?
That was everything.
Okay, we are now going to Dr. Agro.
I played a bunch more Animal Well, which is frustrating because I don't want to say much more about Animal Well because
who knew May and June were spoiler cast season?
Yeah, what's that game that came out that I also keep
Lorelei
and the Laser Eyes? Yeah.
I've been hearing about that, and then I think 1000X something.
Yeah, somehow.
It's 1000X. Just damn it, and then a word. Resist. Resist, survive, something. Yeah, I saw the trailer. Really intriguing. God, just every indie in the world smelled blood and went at the same time.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should just become a boomer that only plays indie games and games made before 2005.
There are enough.
Right?
Yeah. And just like the difference...
Nintendo games, which are spiritually made before 2005.
Like, just like the difference between you paying HBO Max an inordinately huge amount of money to get a sub, or just paying some dude or gal or person on Twitch $5 a month, there's a chasm of feel good. Like, this, I'm getting robbed. This, it affected someone's life. Right? That's also how it feels, where it's like, yeah, I'd much rather spend $70 buying a bunch of indie games. You bet your ass.
Find out Donkey wasn't paying him. It's like, no, Donkey.
No!
I do love the amount of people who was like, it was amazing that Donkey made this game in 1 year.
So at about 8 hours in, I got to the credits of Animal Well.
Okay.
And I think that was like half of the game from what I can tell so far.
Jesus.
I know the true ending involves me getting all, I think, like 62 of the little collectible doodads. But I've done so much after the credits of going back through the game and like, oh, I now have this thing and I can get to this area, and oh, I have this thing and I can do this a different way to get over here, and like, hunting for secret rooms that I missed. And I'm 12 away, and I'm now at the point where I'm gonna have to just go get a guide and go through them one at a time, because the game, like, there's 62 of these things, they all have different names, but there's no like list of them, so you can tell, oh, these are all the ones that I have, and just go look up the ones you don't have. So I'm just gonna have to go by memory and figure out, no, I think I got that one, I think I got that one, to get like the last 12 of these fucking things.
You know, the interesting thing about us streaming Crow Country is that you played the entire game, and I just took comprehensive notes. And man, that felt awesome to just have, like, I wrote down extraneous amounts of information.
You did.
It was real good, because the second it's like, oh, the solution to this is this person's death date, I'm like, I have that. I wrote that. Because it wasn't the solution to that puzzle. But I just wrote it anyways, just in case. So if I play Animal Well, thank you, Aggro. I will now just write the names of those things.
Yeah, no, like take notes. There's a lot of stuff in this game, because, you know, it's one of those, you're in a weird place, and you go into a room and you see a thing on the wall. And is that anything? Yes.
Is Animal Well only on PC?
No, it's on PlayStation.
I've been playing it on PS5.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That frees up my PC to take notes.
Right.
Yeah, no, I definitely like, I want you guys to play Animal Well because it's good, and so that I can talk to somebody about Animal Well without spoiling this cool, intricate puzzle box of a Metroid game.
Yeah, been there.
But I suppose that's all I've been playing.
Hey, Chris, what have you been playing?
So I played around an hour of Hellblade 2. I played exactly long enough to realize, oh, this is all it is. And then I stopped.
Are you cured?
No, in fact, I didn't play Hellblade 1, so I can't comment on that one. But multiple reviewers were like, this completely obliterates any credibility they had from the first game.
I think them replaying the first game might also do that.
We want to talk about this. I genuinely want to talk about this. You can have a deep and spiritual and revealing experience with literally anything. That is the human condition. Fries at a fucking fast food place can mean the world to me. I can have an emotional moment seeing a bird in the park. I think a lot of people had moments with a lot of video games over the years because they were in the frame of mind to have that moment and that catharsis through it. Hellblade 1 was the marketing. So I feel like, yes, a lot of people could go back to that and be like, oh, I put a lot more here than they actually delivered on.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, from playing an hour of it, my review is, yeah, this feels like a sequel nobody wanted to make that they made without their main creative voice because he left 4 years ago.
Which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
And spoilers for news, according to Jez Corden, Microsoft won't shut down Ninja Theory, which they also said about Redfall, so I'm not really sure why anybody should care what Microsoft says about this. I don't think that a studio that has made 2 games for them, neither of which will make any money.
3.
3? What the fuck's the third one?
Well, I guess never mind. Hellblade was right before.
Yeah,
Hellblade was before.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just didn't want anyone to forget Bleeding Edge.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah,
Bleeding Edge.
I was
which
just
made no money.
I was just worried
And then
about
this, which
my
made no
boy weird grandma diaper game with dolphin that's racist.
They sure haven't changed even an inch.
No,
since
there's a
Kung Fu
direct
Chaos.
line from Kung Fu Chaos to
But
Bleeding
yeah,
Edge.
it seems like I played a lot of Hellblade 1. Like I had like PC problems around the time, so I only played about half. But like this seemed like Hellblade 2 seems worse.
That doesn't surprise me because
Like
even
it seems
just,
more hollow.
just the things
Yeah.
they showed in trailers.
This is gonna sound really mean.
Okay, yeah. One moment. We're having a certified mean Bob moment.
It seems cruel that they shut down Arcane and Tango.
And Tango and leave Ninja Theory. I also
Yes.
thought that playing this. I was like,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm
but
sure
both-
that them leaving Ninja Theory open is a lie and they'll be shut down in 6 months. But if somehow that's true and they get to make another game, Microsoft is unbelievably cannot tell what they should keep open at all.
Bob, this is
Yeah.
the safest mean thing you've ever said. There's virtually no human on the planet who would be like, no, the people who made Prey and the people who made Hi-Fi Rush deserve it long before the people who made nothing I cared about since Enslaved. But even if I do care about something, it's Hellblade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it just
ideally
seems-
nobody would get laid off. But
Yeah,
from the
obviously.
perspective of wanting to make money as a corporation,
Right, because
you
the
cut the wrong people. You cut the wrong player from the team.
They are saying it was a tough call they had to make based on money. And when faced with that, it seems absurd to close the studios they closed based on that.
Yeah, there's no way that like Hellblade 2 was in development for so long using the latest tech. That has to have been more expensive than what Tango and Arcane were doing.
I mean, Arcane has a much more high Nothing Ninja Theory can make as much money as Arcane Austin could have made with another Prey-like game or Prey 2.
Right.
Literally not possible. No.
And it's such a bizarre parallel. Like I don't know anybody at Team Ninja. I can't really speak for what their intentions.
Team
Ninja Theory
is a different team.
Yeah.
Every time in my head, I'm like, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up. But that like what happened to Arcane, where they were forced to make this fucking thing nobody there wanted to make, that they had no experience making, and then they killed them for it. Mm-hmm. And then like Hellblade 2 seems like the most, this team wanted to make this thing that was very important to them and they did it. And then corporate went, make another one.
Yeah.
So like they were forced to make the exact same thing.
You can look at Ninja Theory's output, and up until the point where Microsoft was making all the decisions, because they had most of Bleeding Edge done when they bought it.
Yeah,
all
it was
their
like
games were very different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then Microsoft was like, make the one that got a lot of critical acclaim again. Not even make the one that sold good. Make the one that got a lot of critical acclaim.
Right.
Because I presume back in 2020, when they would have greenlit this game, the mindset at Microsoft was, we're a rounding error. Being critically beloved is better than selling. Because that almost feels like the core thesis of Game Pass.
Yeah, that should be the play.
If the rest of the mechanism was working, that would have been a good call.
Right. It's the Netflix model
that probably was a good call before they successfully acquired Activision, and all of a sudden they're $70 billion in the red. And now, fuck reception, we need sales.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
all these fucking studios are gonna die.
Yeah, it's insane. You see that thing where somebody posted and they seemingly had there was no reason I could see to even believe them, but the internet was so ready to believe them. On Twitter, someone was like, Microsoft's trying to acquire Valve for $13 billion. Yeah. I'm like, wow, that sure is $57 billion lower than Activision, and they're basically all of the PC market. This seems insanely incorrect.
Yeah, and everyone can't be like that. That's completely false.
That was, I think it was a thing they mentioned in an email in 2020.
Okay. That's not...
So that means the Epic Game Store is worth $7 billion, right?
Anyway, just for any, if you look at any Valve being acquired rumors, just keep in mind that Counter-Strike 2 by itself brought in $1 billion of revenue last year.
Huh.
So I think Valve's worth a little bit more than 13 billion.
You think?
In fact, I'm willing to bet if you look at the money they make from Steam, they're probably worth about as much as Activision,
Also,
if not more.
Did anyone write the weird Nintendo acquisition news into their news?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Can we crack that open? Never mind. Some people want to just go straight to news to hear the news. Never mind.
Right.
We'll hold it.
But that's all I have to say about Hellblade 2, because again, I only played an hour, realized, oh, this is the same fucking thing forever.
Also, I know it's really confusing. We haven't said the full title this whole time. I'm going to say it. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Because this is going to be more than just this. It's her saga.
I regrettably played World of Warcraft. Because they started Mists of Pandaria Remix. Mists of Pandaria Remix is a thing that is limited time because they're bastards and can't just let anything exist.
Mm-hmm.
You make a character specifically for this. All you need is game time to do this, so you don't have to buy anything. And you get to play through Mists of Pandaria as the entire leveling experience. Originally, it was only, the last 5 levels because it was a new expansion. This is your entire leveling experience, mostly level 10 to 70.
Wow.
It has a lot of stuff added to it. For one, you don't get... Normally in World of Warcraft, you get equipment from doing the quests. Like, to progress.
Okay.
You don't get that anymore. Now every quest gives you things called, I think it's called Cache of Infinite Treasures, which is a box that gives you, 3 things. And it could be a piece of equipment, it could be a consumable, it could be, an addition to equipment. Because World of Warcraft used to have these things called gems, which were things that slotted into your gear and gave you more stats.
You mean they don't do that anymore?
No, because they decided they didn't like that when people got new gear in raids, they couldn't just equip it instantly. They had to sim it out and figure out what they needed to attach to it before it was good. They actually, I think, have slowly gotten rid of every single thing that you attach to gear to make it better.
Yeah, I was like, that was one of those things that reminded me of Diablo back when I first tried it. So it's really weird to be like, oh, that's not even there anymore.
But it is there in this one. And not only that, there are 3 types of gems. There's the gems that just give you stats. They're called prismatic gems now. There's tinker gems, which give you some kind of quirky passive effect. Like right now, I have one called I think it's called Slay. And that means whenever I attack something with less than 10% of its health, it deals damage equal to my maximum health to it. Or to my current health, I think. I think it's current health. So it's basically if you touch something that's at less than 10% health, it dies. And there's also a thing called meta gems, which I think that you only get 1 meta slot on all your gear. It just gives you a new ability. You can slot in these new abilities from your inventory, and they can be stuff like you drop a bomb that makes all their bones hollow. Like their defense goes to shit, and you can brutalize them.
It's just real quick diversion. How come all my podcast co-hosts are just going to sit here while Chris describes that he got back into heroin and be fine with that, but I can't own a VR headset because I'm fighting off the thoughts of walking on the treadmill while wearing it?
No, you can't own a treadmill.
Oh, okay.
You can own a VR headset. You can't own a treadmill.
But still, what the fuck's with that? Everyone's just like, oh, cool. Chris is talking about how he makes the meth. That's...
But yeah, but he's not doing it while on the treadmill.
Chris being on heroin doesn't impede content production and therefore my paycheck.
Fair enough.
Also, I actually am over it. So,
oh,
this is different in a lot of ways. First of all, you're like sequestered to an alternate reality. Like you cannot leave Pandaria.
huh? That's really funny. It's like if Destiny did an event, and it's like you can't leave Mars.
Don't be ridiculous.
Fuck you.
You don't get professions, which they mostly gutted anyway. So like you can't get to make potions, make gear, stuff like that. 'Cause you get all that shit from these caches. Some of the items and enemies will now drop a thing called bronze. But it's time bronze, because in World of Warcraft you have the bronze dragonflight, which are the dragonflight, which is the group of dragons that deal with time. So enemies drop, and this is like diegetic. It's like you're sent back to Pandaria to make sure the timeline goes correctly because people are fucking with it. Because there's this really short opening area where you're talking to the dragons. You're like, you got to go back and make sure things happen the way they're supposed to.
So this is Xenoverse.
Kinda, yeah. But this is it's like they turned a World of Warcraft expansion into Diablo.
Huh.
Oh.
And so I'm having a pretty good time with it. You level very quickly, and when you finish, you can transfer this character once this is over to the live game.
Oh.
Which means if I do it, I'll have a level 70 character I can go into the war within the new expansion pack with. I see you're pantomiming, Dan. I know what you're saying. It's good. It's fine. I'm playing this less than I played Final Fantasy 14 when I was playing that actively. I was playing that like 6 hours a day for 5 months.
God.
I really want them to do this with other expansions. Like I need them to do this with Legion, the expansion that I always regret missing because they turned off all the mechanics of it after it was over, so you can't even sort of experience it the way it was. But I need them to do this with Legion and let people use the artifact weapon shit again. I would be really excited for that. Hell, they need to do this with like every expansion, and I assume that they're going to be switching out which ones you do intermittently. Although it'll be harder because some of them, there's not as many that you can be completely sequestered into an alternate reality for. I also got to try out the new form of flying mounts that they added with the new expansion Dragonflight. Because in World of Warcraft you have flying mounts, and then they added, like, I don't remember what it's called, like dragon gliding or some shit like that, where you only get these giant dragon mounts, and they work like a glider and have their own stamina pips that let them do maneuvers to change your momentum and height. And the reason why you would do this over the normal flying mounts is they go insanely fast.
Okay.
Like ludicrously fast. Like a flying mount moves at the highest level, it moves at 310% of your normal walking speed. These gliding mounts feel like they go like 800.
Good.
It's like the trade-off for it being more involved, because with the flying mount it's just no clip. But with the dragon mount you actually have to try a little bit. But yeah, I like Mists of Pandaria. I like this weird Diablo game they've turned it into. A thing is that you can also get a lot of cosmetics and stuff that you might have missed by doing this. Like you can get the gear appearance. You can get all the gear appearances for this expansion doing this.
Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but do you get to make your own character and everything like you normally would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In my head, it's like you're stuck in Pandaria. You have to be a panda.
No, you don't. In fact, you can actually because they introduced these things. They introduced variants to existing races called allied races in one of the later expansions. which is like you have Draenei, they're the space goat people, and so you can unlock Light Forged Draenei, which are like an alternate faction of them, which are like more white colored and have like weird religious tattoos. Like you can play as one of them, so you can actually bring these species that weren't supposed to be there yet into this expansion.
That's neat.
I'm glad the Elder Gods are allowing that.
We need to fix the timeline. In order to be very subtle, we're going to send back agents of a species that did not exist in this place and time.
Man,
Bronze
World of
Dragonflight,
Warcraft
A number one.
World of Warcraft has so many fucking Elder Gods.
Do they get consulted a lot?
Sometimes.
Are there any left?
Yeah, I was like,
let's see.
feels like less and less consulting them.
I think all the old gods, the Cthulhu-esque equivalents, I think we killed all of them.
They had it coming.
They did have it coming. We killed the Burning Legion, so they're dead also.
They definitely had it coming.
Yeah, they did.
We killed the Jailer, the character they made up with that caused all the events of the Warcraft universe up till that point, because they really had to pretend that anything happened in Shadowlands at all.
They should have killed him hard enough where he never existed.
I don't think there's anything you can do to have to do Shadowlands again, so they basically did.
Cool. It's like I hated that when he showed up in the James Bond movie. God.
I think the main thing that they're building up towards having to fight is the Light Lords.
We're not at that segment yet.
Also, I think the Bronze Dragonflight doesn't exist anymore. I think they like merged with the evil version of themselves called the Infinite Dragonflight in some fucking plot development in one of the expansions I didn't play. So I think there is now the good Infinite Dragonflight and the evil Infinite Dragonflight, because they're a time-traveling faction, so both chunks of them can exist simultaneously.
Oh my god.
Don't sigh. They are the best part of Warcraft lore. They are the Doctor Who get out of jail free card for everything.
That sounds it.
Because the leader of the Bronze Dragonflight was called Nozdormu, I think. They revealed at some point that he was also the leader of the Infinite Dragonflight. Like at some point he became evil, and since they're fucking time travelers, he now exists at all points in time because they can time travel.
Oh my god!
And I don't know. I all I know is, why am I like talking to guys in the Infinite Dragonflight in this opening of this remix? Man, it's so funny to directly compare Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft, because Final Fantasy XIV takes its story very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, not in a dour way, but it's like, whoa, they look back on stuff from a decade ago and maybe treat it as like a real thing and not a video game abstraction. Like, we were doing fucked up things to these races that didn't look human enough.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably try and foster peace so they stop summoning their god to try and kill us. Meanwhile, in World of Warcraft, it's like, okay, you killed 150 of this race because they didn't look human enough. Now Jim Cummings is going to do a Chinese voice at you and do Looney Tunes gags at you for 10 minutes.
Wow.
World of Warcraft is amazing because you'll have cutscenes where Patrick Seitz is every character. Patrick Seitz voices almost every single orc.
Happy for him.
Anyway, if you want to play Chris's favorite World of Warcraft expansion, all you have to do is buy any game time. You don't have to buy the game. You don't have to buy the new expansion. You just have to buy game time, and you can play Mists of Pandaria Remix.
Go on down to the docks. There's a man named Jim. Tell him I sent you. He'll cut you a good deal.
I also started a playthrough of Skies of Arcadia. Legends,
shit.
the GameCube one.
Nice. How's that
That
going?
game's so cool.
It is.
It has so many cool ideas. It also does things that people don't do anymore because they're lazy hacks. Like when you get the boss below 50% health, the music changes to signify you're beating their ass.
It's pretty.
And it'll
cool.
also change if any of your party members get KO'd. It'll be like, it's a dire circumstance. Music.
That is pretty good.
I really like a thing that I've always liked in Skies of Arcadia. First of all, the ship battles are all very cool. There's a whole separate turn-based battle system for doing airship battles, which is great. But there's also these things called discoveries where there's things because it's a sky, like there's no ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Grand Blue Fantasy. So you fly around and you can find these things that called discoveries, which are just like landmarks, and you get like a journal entry about them. And then you can sell information about them to the Sailors Guild. But if you wait too long after discovering them, or you like miss the part of the game they're in, you get less and less as the game goes on.
Huh.
And I always like that as giving people an incentive to fly around and explore things.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many good parts of Skies of Arcadia. It rules so hard. There's this great part where it's like, yeah, nobody knows what's on these two other sides of the world. One, because there's a giant death vortex that nobody can get through, just blocking off this entire. The other is there's a wall of flying rock. There's like a meteor belt in the sky, and we cannot get through. And I think at some point they're like, the villains get through by we got our entire fleet together and just bombarded this fucking wall of rocks until we could get through.
Blow it the fuck off.
Remember when Valkyria Chronicles put those Skies of Arcadia characters in almost as if teasing a new game?
Yep. In fact, I had people, because I posted some clips from the game on Twitter this week. I had people quote you, be like, "That's what these characters are from? I didn't know these characters were from a game." Also, I'm pretty sure that Styx the Badger in Sonic Boom is based on YIIK from Skies of Arcadia. Like, they look almost identical.
Yeah, it is real close.
Really?
But I don't know if that's a direct reference or they're just both shaped like boomerangs. It could go either way.
If Handsome Joe's listening to this podcast, I would like to reiterate, Handsome Joe really promoted this game to me as a kid, but then I went, he's a Dreamcast owner. This is the only RPG. Of course, it's the greatest RPG.
That's not true. That is not true. There was also Evolution 1 and 2, which also came to the GameCube, but packed as one game.
Evolution.
Yeah, have you never seen, like, it has almost like a Mega Man Legends style art style. Like, the main character is like a red-haired kid with goggles, and he has like a mechanical backpack that like gives him a punching fist.
Nope.
That sounds kind of familiar, but I feel like I've never heard the name.
The 1+2 combined released on the GameCube as Evolution Worlds, I believe.
Mm-hmm. But just
also,
to be clear, Grandia 2 is on the Dreamcast, however, that's also on the PS2, right?
Yes, it is.
So then anyone else could have played that.
Don't play the Dreamcast version of Skies of Arcadia.
Yeah.
One, I think that Dreamcast version has like 3 times the rate of random encounters.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's insane.
And they actually did fix like the amount of stuff you get from random encounters. So it's not like they ruined the game by lowering the encounter rate. They also just added stuff that's mostly good. Like, most of the new content they added was good. They added and they didn't add a whole lot. They added like a couple boss fights and like a new side quest that takes they added like an Easter egg hunt that takes place over the entire game.
And it's
that
good.
You get items and stuff from. Yeah, it's good.
What a concept.
because it's made by the same team almost immediately after. It's not one of those situations where it's like completely different people added stuff 15 years after.
Right.
Yeah.
I promise the new dungeons added in Final Fantasy VI on Game Boy Advance are actually great.
Yeah, I'm sure that and Final Fantasy IV the after years are actually really good.
Yeah, and I'm sure
and all that shit they added in the DS version of Chrono Trigger, also great, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't have a huge amount to say of the Skies of Arcadia. I got distracted by somebody telling me, "Hey, you got to go play Mr. Pandaria now. You only have 90 days." And when you log in, it even tells you in big letters, "This many days remaining."
That's sick.
It is sick.
Did you play anything else?
I streamed Final Fantasy VIII on Saturday. In fact, I am finishing Final Fantasy VIII this Saturday.
Ooh.
So on my point of Final Fantasy VIII doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in it because it maybe had some development troubles. We got through discs 1 and 2, which is most of the game, in I think 7 hours. Now, granted, I skipped past me powering up.
Right.
Via the loading element, but there should maybe be more.
Mm-hmm.
Like the disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII takes like 15 hours. I would imagine even if you turned on that power mode in the new versions of the game and just went through it running from turning off encounters, it would still probably take longer than 7 hours to get through disc 1. But Final Fantasy VIII maybe had some trouble because half of its staff and money went to Final Fantasy IX in the middle of development because they had to get 3 games out on the PS1.
Along with all the other stuff Square Enix was working on at the same fucking time.
Right.
Yeah, God, let's see. PS1 Squaresoft. 3 mainline Final Fantasy games. Final Fantasy Tactics.
2 Parasite Eves.
2 Parasite Eves. Saga Frontier 1 and 2. Legend of Mana. I'm sure there's other shit.
There's more, yeah.
Brave Fencer Musashi.
There we go. We still got like 2 more.
Remember when games came
Chrono
out?
Cross.
Yeah, I remember when games came out.
Air Geese, Xenogears, Vagrant Story, Bushido Blade.
2 different toe balls.
2
Bushido
blades.
Balls. Front Mission 3.
Yeah, it's cool that the indies are shooting us to death with an actual flow rate of games that matched anything like back in that era.
Mm-hmm.
Einhander, 2 Chocobo Dungeons. So yeah, I guess it makes sense that a lot of, perhaps several of those games feel like, okay, this feels like the jigsaw puzzle's missing a couple pieces. We're gonna put this together and hope we can still make out the picture on it when it's done. In some cases you can, and in some cases you maybe can't. Don't do such a fucking good job of that, like Saga Frontier 2. And in some cases, the puzzle came with a note that explains what was on the missing pieces, like in Xenogears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes that really do happen, where apparently the thing you've been assembling the jigsaw on was on top of a mat that has a pencil sketch of what it should have been in the missing pieces.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VIII is very neat. I really like a lot of the characterization stuff in it. I fucking love Squall. He's so unbelievably funny. Don't play Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, at least on PC. It's running at 30, even on the menus, sure makes a lot of the mini games that were menu based feel like shit.
Yep. Because Final Fantasy VIII has a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has these entirely weird cinematic things where Squall has like a fist fight with a guy where while you're hanging on a rope attached to a hovercraft.
Mm.
It's very Indiana Jones, but it controls like shit on this version.
Yeah. Absolute fucking nightmare. I remember when people started to complain about it, and then a bunch of people went, you don't need your RPGs to run well.
Yeah.
It's turn-based, it's fine.
Yeah, that's why they did the very difficult and technologically involved thing of making the menus run at a different frame rate than the rest of the game. That's why they did that, because it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Again, anybody who says turn-based RPGs don't need higher frame rates should be locked in a jail cell where they have to achieve everything with a Ubisoft cursor-based menu. They should be sealed inside the menu of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint forever. They should have to use it to order food, to order anything they need off the internet, to navigate the web. It should be their only thing they can use to interact with reality.
Yep.
But that's everything I played.
Okay. Before we get to the Podlords, we want to talk about what streams we have coming up. Chris, what do you got coming up?
Final Fantasy VIII on Saturday.
So how many seconds will Disc 3 take?
I assume I'll be done with that game inside 6 hours.
That makes sense, given the rate you were going at.
Right.
I already mentioned it, but I might as well show the thumbnail again.
Yeah, I was like, this is an incredible thumbnail. They need to see it again.
So tomorrow is our Hellblade 2. Sorry, Senua Saga Hellblade 2 versus Stellar Blade Flop Swap Death Stream. Please hang out. We get to compare Unreal Engine 4 versus 5, Europe versus Korea,
Yes.
PS5 versus Xbox,
Oh, yeah, man.
ass versus assless. You get to choose what side you're fighting for and why.
It all comes down to this.
You decide what the real battle is, and we'll get to see some fucking hella games and hopefully some Stella games.
I can't fucking wait. I'm actually off tomorrow. This is going to be great.
This might be the single worst thing we've ever done.
I feel like how long can a prediction go unfulfilled?
You can literally,
before you-
as long as you end the stream after the prediction, you're good.
I feel like you need to do which game will exist in this stream more?
But that would tie us up. We wouldn't be able to predict anything else.
That's true. Then we would be predictionless.
That's true. Damn.
Um,
Just do a poll for posterity's sake.
yeah,
what
just-
people think.
see what people think will be the majority of that stream. Also, next Wednesday, I'm doing a crossover stream. Gamma Chris is coming over to the GigaBoots headquarters to play some Super Mario 64 co-op, because I guess I just get to have a fun time that isn't based on a game coming out and get to play online Mario 64 with people. That's right. GigaBoots and Gamma Chris, GB and GC. It's all located in one location. That's going to be really fun. I got to mess around with it, and I'm shocked by how easy they made it to do. That thing goes up to 16 players. Imagine 16 players running all over Mario 64. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be an awesome stream. We're going to chill out. We're going to play some Mario 64, basically my favorite video game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be real good. Anyways, hey, Agro, what are you doing in the next week?
You know, stuff.
Podlards!
Oh, fuck.
Oh fuck.
Here they come.
Here they come! Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as BN12, Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro. Don't worry, guys. The Master Chief Collection works great now. Oh, they must have changed it from like a week ago.
Yeah.
101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF, Spider-Man. Raven kills Moppy the Mop with a wood chipper while Moppy screams. Raven is doing the voice, under Terry's orders.
Huh.
Yeah, that was the thing with the Perry Saturn thing where he leaves his girlfriend for a mop. She has the mop killed.
No gods, no kings. There is only YIIK. Congratulations on surviving the death stream. DFW 3K. Muckbun. Shiny Mew. Kristen Juicefrost. Guy who I started Nikki for, and her hobby is installing Doom on everything.
Yeah, she's explicitly a boomer gamer. I think her name is Egg.
This design is devious.
That's why. That's what. Like that. You can see the egg element with her hair, where it's like an eggshell.
Yeah, I feel like that's you can say that about basically every Nikkei design.
that it's devious?
Yes.
Yes. Cooper Tank. Here lies Ninja Theory, 2004 to whenever Xbox pulls the trigger.
Probably 2024.
That's weird. Why is that image relevant to Xbox
no.
pulling the... Indigo Sykes. Truffle and the girls say happy birthday, Bob. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congrats, Team Bucket List, and especially to Fry for her third ever Splatfest win.
Oh, that's rough. No, certainly we haven't had that many Splatfests, right?
Yeah, it's only been like 5. Shinji16 would like to remind you that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy. A small raccoon. My God, that's adorable.
Tiny.
Good Lord.
So tiny.
Got them big old feet.
Team Bucket List won Splatfest. Take that, Shivers. This is fine. Same old day, team. The Super Mem. Do it for her. It's pretty great. Sarlene. Timothy Pfister. Bearded Joe. Krunglespum. Pleochrome. Jinkar Yika.
Oh, that's damaging. I don't...
Did a corrupted AI generate this to vex me?
Right?
Yeah,
Looks diseased.
This looks like the concept art of a Psychonauts character.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Thank you.
How is it? Is it the anniversary of the game Bob?
Sure.
You're the best looking guy here.
Did they like try and AI res up his face?
That's what it looks like. You thought CyberConnect 2 would make the first One Piece game with insane presentation, but it was me, Tencent! We are pleased to announce that we have no plans to close Ninja Theory. Thought you all should know that for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah, we promise we're not shutting down Ninja Theory in 3 months. Leave that shirt answers a lot of questions being prompted by my shirt.
A rash. Dan, what the fuck is a QNED? How do I convince my 65-year-old dad not to buy one?
Oh my God.
So a QNED's just a fucking TV. It's just a TV. It's an LCD. There's nothing special about it. They just want to confuse people for QLED and OLED.
What?
Yeah.
Man.
No, we got a whole shitload of things that are named with giant 4-letter acronyms that make it seem like it
is a real thing. That's not a typo.
No, that's not a typo. I can't remember which brand makes QNEDs. Maybe that is Samsung. Maybe they call their even cheaper LCDs QNEDs.
Man, what the N even stand for?
Nuh-uh.
All right.
It stands for quantum nano emitting diode. I don't think you can emit nanos. I don't think that's how that works.
So I guess that's
Maybe I'm
LG's
misunderstanding.
LCDs that are obviously, because Samsung's LCDs are QLEDs. And thus to get back at them for trying to make it look like a branding thing, that they also have OLEDs, because QLED looks like OLED. It's just the one line through it that makes it Q.
Uh-huh.
They made QNED to look like QLED. I hate this fucking industry.
Yeah.
Yup.
The answer to your question is it's just a TV. That's it. At this point in time, there's nothing special about a fucking LCD. It's just a TV.
Yeah, it seems like this generally just seems to be a new term for normal TV.
Yeah. It would be messed up to tell Dr. Aggro that the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion is suspiciously Final Fantasy IX themed a month barely before it comes out.
Yeah, I don't think Aggro has time to play 900 hours of Final Fantasy XIV to get to that expansion next month. There kind of literally isn't enough time.
Well, Aggro does have a head start.
Yeah, he's played 14.
Oh. How
And,
much 14?
and oh, go ahead.
I haven't even gotten to Heaven's Word. I just played the base game back in the day.
Oh, okay, so 700 hours.
And happy Paper Mario release week. Thank you very much to our podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Pod
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, podlords.
And if you'd like to become a pod lord, you can go to our Patreon. What the fuck? Sudden narcissism attack. Neil Druckmann's brain parasites are spreading.
So you could go to
go
my
to our
Patreon, patreon.com/Chris Wolfhard. I'm like, wait a fucking second. We have a hostage situation.
You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GB podcast to get access to many benefits such as early access to Chugging, Bleach, and Pokemon Go to the Movies, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts that will probably both be ending this year. Early access to other extended content such as additional gamer premonitions when we do that show, a patron-funded show 1 a month wherein we either review a good thing privately that you get to vote on and discuss it, or a bad thing that is public, and you get a commentary track for that bad thing. Patrons do, but everybody else gets the normal discussion. And many other benefits, such as an entire movie called Isolation 119, that is a spectacular film about a man who really wants a tax write-off on his vacation to Thailand. That's patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, it always helps immensely to tell your friends, rate us on Thursdays, rate us with a T on your podcasting app of choice, leave a comment and subscribe on YouTube, or just do Reddit vandalism and post about us randomly in places that don't belong until you get banned. Just make a burner account. They don't care. Just make the internet worse. Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it.
Patreon.com/GB podcast.
We got news. Did y'all know that in the future, a theme park will be like an AR experience?
Oh my God.
And there will be a dinosaur. And there will be Ghostbusters. Did you know?
I didn't know that. Thank God Sony was here to tell me. Could there be anything else in the theme park other than Horizon and Ghostbusters, maybe?
No.
Really? Just them?
No.
All
The
right.
2 biggest IPs based on money alone?
I can't even... That can't be right.
I mean,
There's
they
no
don't
way-
own Spider-Man,
was
so
like
they
the-
can't say Spider-Man.
There's no way Ghostbusters is their most profitable.
In their film division?
Probably, yeah.
They sold Bond, didn't they?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think Amazon or someone else, something fucked up happened with Bond, didn't it?
Well, Bond was MGM. Did they own MGM?
Sony owned Bond. That's why all the Sony shit kept showing up in
That's
Bond.
true. Man.
Yeah. So I mean, they just keep cranking out Ghostbusters because they
Yeah, I
think
guess.
it's their best chance at having a good, strong franchise. Yeah, now Amazon owns MGM
Mm-hmm.
instead of Sony. So
Man, that's
Yeah.
weird to think.
yeah, Sony's so full of fucking wins.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so I don't know what that trailer was supposed to be, but it sure was a YouTube video.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to, for posterity's sake, I feel like we should say the title of the video. Give me 1 second to find exactly what it's called, so that way people can hopefully look it up. This is the wrong account. You know, the worst part of managing a VOD account is when YouTube will randomly sign you into it and it'll be like, oh, your history doesn't show any of the shit you watch. Sony's Creative Entertainment Vision vertical split official video on Sony Global YouTube channel.
Nobody is watching this fucking video. Nobody. They didn't retweet it or post it on the PlayStation Twitter account. They just seems like they have some idea that they don't want people to see this.
Yeah, I feel like this has to. My hope this was made without the consultation of PlayStation at all, and it was just the other side of Sony being like, "Haha, check out what gaming and theme parks and the movies could be like in the future."
Bad?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Great.
You will hold a piece of glass that is oval shaped and it will have a video on it.
We're going to make an ovoid capacitive touchscreen thing because we don't know what hands are or how they're shaped or how humans interact with products.
We're going to make one of the worst controllers ever conceived.
Why? Because it looks weird. That's it.
This will happen in 10 years.
We promise we will ruin everything in the next 10 years.
What if you had a tablet, but instead of being a large and like you would normally have a tablet, what if it was just really long? What if we just made a long tablet was like the width of your hand?
Oh, that's cool. That'd be useless for drawing.
Yeah, it'd be useless for drawing, watching movies, reading things, everything.
That's cool. Great. Somebody, before we started the podcast, Chris said it was like the PS9 commercial if there wasn't a single cool thing about it.
Yes, because they also have you put on these gigantic, stupid-looking shades. Like, yeah, this will be cool, right?
And you listen to the Drive soundtrack. Anyways, let's cover your other news, Bob. That's actually news.
Sure. So Vanillaware is recruiting people for a new action RPG.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Hot damn.
Yeah. It's actually been a very long time. It's been since Dragon's Crown.
Which, in case you're not aware, you may want to sit for this. It's been a long time since.
Game.
Yeah, it's a PS3 game, fucker.
Yeah. I'm excited. They've been away from that genre for so long, and that used to be their genre. Like, every game before that, except Grim Grimoire, was an action RPG.
Yeah. It's very exciting. These motherfuckers, they make the best ones.
They have a recruitment page that has art on it. There's no telling if that's actually art that's going to be for that game at all, because I feel like they always have art that's similar to the games they've released, but it's not identical, and it's not actually the same characters.
So you don't think Dragon Lady's going to make it?
I mean, I don't know if the SRB will let Dragon Lady make it, but I hope.
I love this image. Like, there's a dragon. It's got a crown. It's got tits. This is a Vanillaware game.
Yeah, it's like the horniest dragon concept art I've seen.
So you weren't on Arcadia, huh?
No.
Not a nipple claw man, then, Bob.
We also found out when Devolver Digital show is.
That's good.
It's June 7th, 7 p.m. Central, which is immediately after Jeff Keighley's shows, which are the Summer Game Showcase and the Days of the Devs, which always air back to back.
Well, there goes our post-Summer Games Fest stream because it's Friday, and now this is literally going to push that so late. It's like, what would we even fucking do?
I don't know. It's also, the theme of it is Volvy's 15th birthday.
Good. That doesn't line up.
They better actually release a Volvy game.
I know, right?
Yeah, if they're going to say it's Volvy's 15th birthday, they better fucking release a game.
But yeah, I believe it's actually the 15th anniversary of Devolver Digital.
Wow, I didn't realize they were up and running in 2009.
Right?
That's crazy.
Either that or they're lying about all of it. And like 2 weeks ago, they were like, oh yeah, it's the 15th anniversary. He's a sale we're doing on various platforms.
Would they really do that? Would Devolver do something so deranged? I just don't know.
It's a mystery.
I shot someone in chat by saying 15 years ago was 2009.
Yeah, I bet.
Whoops. Sorry. Observing the passage of time again. I'm very excited for this next bullet. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Let's do it. Talk about it.
Call of Duty's official title, Black Ops 6.
That sucks. Black Ops 6
suck.
is a terrible title. Because, one, that means Cold War is now officially 5 retroactively.
Yes. which it very much obviously was. But
you could break the numbering and stop going to insanely high numbers on Black Ops, the least level franchise of all of them, because one of them doesn't even have a campaign.
I know. It's so weird that it felt like that was the idea, that we were going to get away from numbering these, and now they're just jumping right back in, which is so strange.
Yeah. Also, Bob, somebody, and I have no credibility to this. We're just going to have to wait for the reveal, and I hope this is right.
Oh, no.
In some of the stuff that came out or leaked or whatever, there's references to 9/11.
Yeah, it seems like there might just be 9/11 in this.
I mean, if
the initial like the leak was Black Ops Gulf War.
Uh-huh.
So what if this is like, 9/11 happened right before this game, so now you have to invade the Middle East.
If there was a game to do
world invade the Middle East.
It would absolutely be a Treyarch Black Ops game. If any game's going to be about 9/11 and very directly reference loose change, it will be a Black Ops game.
Did you see that they're putting the fucking Gundam in Warzone, I think it is?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think they got 3 Gundams.
Yeah.
Like you get Aerial Gundam, RX-78, and then Zaku, Charged Zaku, I think. They look really cool. I was kind of hoping that they would be Gundam characters, because it's weird to go around as like mobile suits, human size.
No, that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
No, I need Camille in Cold War.
Right?
I need Camille in Warzone. I need
yes.
weird, pseudo-realistic, but still anime, the way that Alucard was, version of Camille, and I need him to yell that Camille is a man's name because I'm a man, after like deploying the nuke kill streak.
Yes. Yeah, him and Quattro.
Yeah, they need an original kill streak where you just summon the Gundam and it kills everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That would be incredible.
I am way too excited for this year's Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a lot.
Somebody in chat earlier was saying the marketing apparently is very New York centric too. So it is absolutely the opening of this game is going to be, here's 9/11. Okay, now go invade the Middle East.
Yes, this is going to be so much.
This might be the most poorly received Call of Duty of all time, just considering the geopolitical context in which it exists.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to bet they were like, I'm willing to bet that 6 months ago, they were like, no, don't start a war in the Middle East now. You motherfuckers, we thought it was safe. We thought we could make a game about this.
Do you think Adler's going to be in it?
Oh my God.
Oh God, please don't make Adler do 9/11.
Yes, please.
No, that's the best case scenario. I need Adler to have secretly done 9/11 to start the war in the Middle East. That is way too funny. Like, grand scheme of things, unbelievably funny. Oh my God.
Look, he just really needs for there to not be a war on drugs.
That's what he needs right now. Yeah, we can spend all day talking about how exciting this year's Call of Duty is. My favorite thing will be, this is so poorly received by the press, by reviewers, by everyone, that Microsoft is getting blown up for it.
I know, the Microsoft is doing, like, this whole thing is going to be a gigantic showcase after their main showcase.
Yeah, Microsoft, I don't think cutting from your Xbox showcase to 9/11 is going to really have the impact you want it to have. I think it'll have an impact, but not exactly the one that you would like.
Dude, this showcase is going to end, and Xbox fans, the few that remain, are going to go so deranged that when presented with people being like, yeah, that is fucking insane, that game looks like dog shit, haha, Microsoft sucks, they're going to be like, that showcase was clearly a planned demolition. We all can see how brilliant Phil is. I'm going to make a documentary. Be right back.
I swear to God, this game is like 9/11 for people who wanted is like 9/11 jokes to stop happening.
It will. I will never get over how that the shit from the end of the South Park episode about AIDS like happened in real life about 9/11 like 2 years ago. If I don't know if you've never seen the South Park episode about AIDS, which makes sense, it's like
really old.
It's really old. Like Jared was not yet in prison. Jared from Subway was not yet in prison.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is that they go to Jared to ask how he lost weight, and he's like, "Oh, I have AIDS," and he means AIDS as in assistants who'd help him diet. So the kids go around telling everybody, Jared has AIDS. Jared gave us AIDS. And then and all the adults are gonna fucking lynch him. And he's like, "No, I'm in assistance." We're like, "Oh," and everybody laughs. They're like, "Wait, we never would have laughed like this years ago. That means it finally happened." And they unveil a giant golden statue that says AIDS is finally funny.
Jesus. Yeah.
And that feels like almost exactly what happened with 9/11 over the past couple years.
Someone in chat said,
"Thank you, insane guy, post talking about 9/11 in a turning red movie review."
Somebody in chat said Microsoft acquires 9/11, and the image, because the absurdity of them saying, "Here are great studios," and then one of them is just Age of Empires. That's how it will go this time too. It'll just have on the fucking giant marquee full of images of studios and games, one of them will just say 9/11.
Jesus.
Let's move on.
Sure.
Oh Sorry, I just want to hear them defend in court that they have exclusive rights to reference 9/11 in video games.
Man, Marvel somehow has copyright on Thor.
They have
even a version of Thor.
Oh, Thor.
Okay.
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 Yeah. I don't fucking get it. Anyways, hey Bob.
Hey.
What's the next bit of news? We'll have plenty of time to talk about that Call of Duty during and after the showcase.
Yeah, the showcase is going to be a ride. Good Lord. I'm super excited for I believe that's the Sunday after June 7th. So that would be what? The
9th.
The 9th, yeah.
I really hope people are looking forward to our summer games coverage. As usual, we will be just chained to a fucking desk as all of these unload.
This year might suck in every way, but also that it might be the most fun.
I think this year has the best opportunity to suck the most in the best way possible.
Right. It'll be really funny to watch, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Multiverses did a launch trailer, even though it doesn't launch for another week or so.
Okay.
But the launch trailer showed off Agent Smith and Jason Voorhees.
Okay, real quick, pausing the conversation. I didn't even hear anything about Agent Smith.
I know,
They
right?
announced Agent Smith for this.
Neither did
Not
I.
one person on the internet talked about it because everyone's obsessed with Jason Voorhees. Really?
They've been pushing exclusively Jason Voorhees. This trailer showed both of them, and then they've released several trailers about Jason Voorhees. And I'm like,
is WB self-conscious about the Matrix right now?
I don't know.
That cinematic trailer, ooh boy, it does not.
It is
very good.
It is rancid. It's like,
when multiple people are, I think that AI might end up having an indirectly positive effect on the world because everybody's just going, "This looks like shit. Is it AI?" So companies are going to have to try harder so they don't get accused of using AI. Because that's how I found out this trailer came out. I just kept seeing people post screenshots like, "This looks like AI."
it's like they're trying to do a Smash trailer.
Of it is,
yeah, probably
but
not.
It looks like shit.
Yeah, it just looks bad and has no.
Okay, so I'm seeing why no one wanted to talk about Agent Smith. This man looks fucking horrible. That is unidentifiable as Agent Smith. That could have been a random MIB background character.
Yeah, I see it a little bit, but I guess if they go too further, they have to pay.
Oh, well, guess what they should do?
Yeah, I agree, but
he shouldn't even be in the game if they aren't going to give him the voice.
Wait, is Black Adam already in the game?
Yes.
Man, that push sure didn't fucking work out for you, did it, WB?
No, it didn't. I think Black Adam went into the game and then they shut the game down like a month later.
That's true.
I'll never forget that the DC Comics event comic at the time when the Black Adam movie was about to come out, ended with everybody turning into Black Adam. Like, he gave Black Adam powers to everybody, so everybody had a Black Adam variant suit. And then that movie did not perform well at all.
It's so sad. Every time they try and hyper push something like this, feel like it almost never works
They
out.
haven't had a single win like the Harley push didn't work out at all, and frankly, the Harley push had much more of a chance of working than the Black Adam push.
Mhm.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
Then the
people
Black Adam
like
push didn't work at all.
Yeah, people like Harley Quinn at all.
Right, like she has a cultural penetration as far as that goes. Like people care about her.
Yeah.
And that will never happen with Black Adam.
Let's move on.
Yeah. All right, we already covered this with the
Whatever, say it again.
yeah, Ninja Theory. According to Windows Central, Ninja Theory will not be shut down, and the next game is greenlit. It's definitely happening, guys.
So here's
it's sure great that whenever anything Microsoft has any bad news or bad atmosphere, Jez Corden comes out to tell us that the truth is exactly what Microsoft would want to be the truth. It's such a shock that he's an insider and all his information is everything's fine, don't worry. It's never once anything else.
that is really weird.
Please don't look at what he was saying about Xbox putting games on other platforms immediately before they announced all their games were going to other platforms.
So my theory about this, Ninja Theory got to ship Hellblade 2 because it was basically them subsidizing the cost, amortizing the cost of getting their shit up to run for a full-scale game.
Okay.
The problem is they now have to make that full-scale game.
Right.
They don't have enough people to make a AAA game. Like, they don't.
Yeah,
Right.
Someone posted earlier they had 139 or something.
Yeah. And if you want to have the insane fidelity they're going for some reason, that's not going to be.
That's the future of gaming. You can only
Yeah,
ship a
this
game
is
now if it runs like shit and has ray tracing that people can't tell the difference on.
Yeah, I definitely don't play the new Team Ninja game, Rise of the Road. I'm like, oh man, this guy doesn't look great in any way, but it's pretty cool though.
Look, the deep and impactful narrative could only have been brought to life by dumping all of those resources into making the most detailed face possible. No other iteration of this media with less fidelity has ever communicated an emotionally impactful story before. This had to be done.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, even if this is true, which the only way I believe this is true is if their next game is Hellblade on PS5, Hellblade 2 on PS5. They got approval to make that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, guys, Microsoft ain't just gonna let them cook for five years again to make a game. First of all, Xbox won't exist in 5 years. Like, I'm sorry, but it's over. Everything but Call of Duty is over. Everything but Call of Duty and Blizzard and id is over. I'm not even sure main Bethesda is entirely safe if Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't do as good as Skyrim. And I'm not sure anything can do as good as Skyrim.
I think things will change in the next 3 years enough where I think maybe by the time they even ship the next Elder Scrolls, the metric by which they judge the success of Bethesda is different because there's no way it isn't simultaneous launch on every platform.
Right.
Not a chance. I don't think Microsoft is outside of this year, which will only be temporary exclusivity for. We basically have confirmation on shit like Indiana Jones and Avowed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everything's going to be day and date. I'll be surprised if Gears 6 isn't multi-platform day and date.
Hey, here's a good question. Sony's doing PC, PS5 simultaneously release going forward.
Mm-hmm.
A quick question. Can anyone explain then why they wouldn't also try to get it on the Switch too?
I'm sure Sony won't get shit on Switch too because they don't want Sony to cut their. I don't want Nintendo to cut their throat.
By like 30% cut, you mean? I mean,
by taking away reasons to buy a PS5. Like, you need a pretty high-end PC to run Sony games.
Depends.
So I assume that's like, okay, that's some money we can get from really active consumers that don't like that won't take away. Either they'll buy both or they were never going to buy a PS5 to begin with. I imagine that's probably part of the mindset.
Yeah, they
like
probably
will get double dipping from Sony PS5 owners who also want this version with more bells and whistles, or they're PC guys who will never play on console anyway. That changes a lot when you take shit to Switch 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably still realize the importance of exclusivity and having some reason for people to come to your platform instead of others.
I would have said that before they're now moving towards the simultaneous PC console launch. I don't have confidence that Sony is smart enough to realize that once they continue to see the improved sales from being on PC. I do wonder.
I really think the mindset is like, I think everybody views PC as different and not a direct competitor. And if they don't consider a direct Nintendo a direct competitor, they better change that perception real fucking fast.
Oh yeah, no, their whole fucking shit's gonna be
like
if you look at Nintendo as an arc, if you're talking about whether or not they're directly competitive, whatever Microsoft says, like they left orbit with the Wii and went off into space and did their own thing for a while. And like the Switch was still kind of weird, but they're fucking plummeting back toward Earth, and they are like going to
Goku
impact.
Came back from Namek, and the androids were like, "We assumed you'd get stronger, but there's no way you got to then go Super Saiyan."
right.
And they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
I just thought it would be an interesting thing to discuss because I used to have a good read on Sony as a company, but we're in a time of flux.
I know, and we really need to see what these new CEOs and everything do and how things pan out over the next year, because I think that's going to tell us a lot about what Sony's like going forward.
Yes.
And if they're going to just completely crash and burn.
I agree. Let's move on.
Oh, right. The Helldivers developer Arrowhead is hiring a new CEO. I'm going to mess up all these names. They're all Swedish and very Swedish.
I'm going with Shams Georgiani.
Yeah, he's formerly of Paradox Interactive, being hired as their new CEO. The original CEO and founder,
Johan Palstedt.
Yep. Is now going to be the chief creative officer and chairman of the studio. And he's basically doing this because he wants to worry more about games than the business side.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comparisons to, like, you know, the creative voice at Remedy, Sam Lake. And also Hideo Kojima. He wants to be like that. And it was funny because the guy they got to come in to be the new CEO was literally talking about, like, yeah, he doesn't look at Helldivers and think this is the peak of my career, this is my best game. By the time he's done, he wants it to be like his fourth best game. And I was like, okay, this is cool so far.
And then we got the really funny quote where it's like, we want Arrowhead to be like another FromSoft or Blizzard. And I'm going to be real. You couldn't pay me to say we want to be the next Blizzard, because the fear of waking up, I somehow fucked up and didn't run HR properly, and now people are throwing that back at me because some fucked up shit happened at my company is way too strong a fear for me to ever say that.
Blizzard has way too much negative things about it for anyone to ever say this.
And not only that, these two companies couldn't be more different in what they do. FromSoft, I could actually see Arrowhead achieving, where it's just like, we don't try to be like, FromSoft doesn't make games like everyone else makes games.
Right.
And Helldivers 2 is also not a game like everybody else is making games. I heard multiple people, even in the last week, talk about, yeah, no, it's a multiplayer game like multiplayer games used to be. What the fuck happened? And, you know, them having that high-tech but kind of lower production value compared to most video games thing really makes the FromSoft comparison kind of a good comparison. So then when I finished reading that sentence and they go, or Blizzard, I go, what the fuck do you think that means?
They think it means Blizzard when they made Diablo 2, I think. Which is insane.
Then say Blizzard North.
Right.
Like, I don't... All right. They want to finish a game and have a CG studio decide what their ending is, I guess, is the... That's a Diablo 1 joke. They got the CG cutscene for the ending back, and they went, what the fuck? Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense with our fucking story. Why did he put that in his chest?
My last thing, Samurai Showdown rollback netcode is out. It's on everything except for the Switch version.
What year is it?
Right, this was announced, I think, at least 3 years ago. It seems insane that we're still talking about this. But hey, I guess try to play some Samurai Showdown.
Hooray. I hope the internet is full of Samurai Showdown fans.
Right, I hope that you didn't move on to some of the other dozen fighting games that came out since.
I mean, I might reinstall it and play it some.
Yeah, there you go.
Didn't it come out like in the middle of COVID?
It came out a little bit before COVID, but the announcement about the rollback was during peak COVID.
Right.
We now go to Dr. Aggro for news. Dr. Aggro?
So, in upbeat news, where people are gaining jobs and studios are doing fine, Larian Studios has announced that they're opening their 7th studio in Warsaw, which is, good news. But I mostly wanted to bring it up because if you don't know, every Larian studio has their own logo. Like you've got the main Larian logo with the knight with like the Corinthian helmet. Let me pull this image that I have here.
Okay.
Copy. That's not working for some reason. Oh no.
One moment, I can. So I'm just imagining sigils, kind of like runes. And...
I put this image in a Google Doc and it's trapped.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, I hate that.
God damn it.
There's a way to download those. I think you click File, and then, what is it, Download, and then select to download it as... Is it PDF? No, it's HTML. So if you do that, then the HTML has to save the image separately. I had to figure this out for a Bob Steam Gaming segment. Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
I should buy Quest 5 and wear it to the gym.
No.
Or Quest 3. It's
No.
$500. This is how much I obsess over this price is too high. Bob heard me calling a Quest 5 yesterday, and I've done it again today.
Yeah.
It's a high price.
It is. For a product.
For a guy who bought a Quest 2
Yeah.
last year, it was like, oh, this is not good enough. Oh, okay. We found. Okay. So this dude.
Yeah, this is the logo for Larian Warsaw. I just wanted to bring it in because it's a goddamn winged hussar. And I'm really happy about it.
I'm happy for you. Bob, are you happy for him?
I guess. With all that anticipation, I was expecting some sort of saw creature.
Because of Warsaw?
Yes.
Really? So what would be a saw creature?
I could have like
creature
a
with
like a
saws?
Like a
buzzsaw
puppet
head.
on a tricycle?
Right. See, that's what I was sitting there. I was thinking. I was like, I mean, there's really just the puppet.
I wasn't thinking the film franchise Saw because I never think of that. I was thinking a saw, like a circular saw or a table saw.
And it just lies there, and it's like, sit on me, because it's got a circular saw in its chest or a table saw in its chest, and it can't move because it's just a table saw, but it's animate, I guess.
What is that Godzilla monster at the table
weird,
saw?
Bob.
Yeah, you're weird, Bob.
So is this like a weird sex thing for you?
Yeah,
like,
is that what's up? Oh my god. The guy acts like he's above Saw movies, but he's into weird sex stuff. Also, I cannot remember the name of the Godzilla monster with the table saw or whatever in its fucking face. I'm sure someone will write it in the comments. Or
But yeah,
maybe
I was thinking
John.
the one in his chest where it's got the buzzsaw. Comes
Yeah,
out
I know
there.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Is it Gigan?
It might be Gigan.
Chat saying Gigan.
That sounds right.
oh, yeah, no, he's got the saw on his chest and like the hook hands.
Yeah.
Gigan. Yeah. What an idiot.
God, yeah, he sucks.
So what are you talking about? He's so cool.
No, that dude sucks. Anyways, hey,
I
Aggro.
don't think we need to talk about your weird sexual obsession with
Yeah,
Gigan.
we're fucking done with it.
So we were talking about Sony's creative visions earlier and their weird techno-futurism designed soup of a video they put out. To go along with that, they did a puff piece interview with Neil Druckmann, where he has confirmed that he has fucking left orbit and lost all touch with noumenal reality. He has gone full auteur and is just saying shit now.
Okay, so I have read none of this except for the tiniest bits that made it into the GigaBoots fan Discord involving AI. So, Aggro, would you like to run us through the highlights?
Absolutely.
What exactly is going? Like, I know he He thinks AI is going to perform a pivotal role in the future of storytelling in video games.
God, I hate this motherfucker so much.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing like, oh, he needs to have that studio wrestled away from him.
Yeah, was like moreover, like the questions are shit like how will emerging technologies foster global collaboration and transmedia storytelling and entertainment? Like you can just see both of them sitting in a room jacking off.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Druckmann, your games seem to have the popularity of a runaway freight train. How are you so popular?
AI is really going to revolutionize how content is being created. Although it does bring up some ethical issues we need to address.
Yeah, like the fact it can't exist ethically at all because its entire existence involves being trained on data. You literally cannot pay enough money to all the people whose data you need to use. That is why all these companies are literally arguing to the US government right now, we need an exception from law. We need to not have law apply to us.
Can we get a law-free pass, US government, please?
Oh, here's a fun one. What advice do you have for the new generation of creators who will be expected to expand the boundaries of games, film, and TV?
I don't like this question at all, and I know I will like the response even worse.
I emphasize mastering fundamentals over tools. With AI, your creativity sets the limits. Understanding art history, composition, and storytelling is essential for effective direction. Tools evolve quickly. Some tools once essential are now obsolete. At Naughty Dog, we transitioned from hand animating Jak and Daxter to using motion capture in Uncharted, significantly enhancing our storytelling. AI will allow us to create nuanced dialogues and characters, expanding creative possibilities. However, it's crucial to precisely direct these tools to achieve the intended outcomes. This is just soup.
First off, you don't precisely direct AI. That is not what that is or how it works.
No, we got to really tune our prompts.
Yeah. You need to be a prompt master.
I bet Druckmann is a prompt master. I bet he prompts all the time. I bet he prompted right in the middle of this interview. I'm reading this text and I see him prompting the other guy right there on the spot. He's like, check this out. Here's a good prompt.
Man. Like, if anyone was left that was like, oh yeah, Neil Druckmann's incredible and definitely the future of gaming, I feel like they're gone. Like, this has to lose them.
Oh, if someone was there. Oh, okay.
The only people he has left are like completely lobotomized analysts who can't do anything but say, giant company thinks we'll make lots of money good.
Yep.
God, he wants to be Kojima so bad. He is so transparently an insecure narcissist. Like, he wants the legacy of Kojima so bad. And I kind of hope that new Insomniac game tanks and kind of obliterates his legacy.
Naughty Dog?
Oh, no. He's got a quote about his upcoming project.
Oh, what's up with that?
Well, I mean, he started talking about how there's a shift in demographics, there's a great appreciation for gaming, and he says this shift is highlighted by our venture into television with The Last of Us, which I hoped would bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. The show's success has spotlighted gaming, illustrating the rich, immersive experiences it offers. I don't know how that works outside of your head. I'm eager to see how this new game resonates, especially following the success of The Last of Us, as it could redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming.
Are you making Quantum Break 2, you motherfucker?
Yeah, he wants to be Kojima so goddamn bad.
Are you making Quantum Break 2? Are you going to say we're brilliant because we had to stop and watch a fucking TV show you wrote in the middle of this game?
Guys, he's writing a TV show that will air alongside with the game coming out, and the game is episodic and both feature very, very A-list Hollywood celebrities. This is going to bomb hard.
What was that? Sci-Fi did that already.
Yeah, they did.
What was that called?
Argent, R something, AR something.
I mean, that word's pronounced Argent.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of it, though. Defiance?
That sounds more right.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people pop up with Defiance. Okay.
Yeah. Man, what a nightmare.
And Sony's going to let him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Has anyone seen David Cage recently? Are we keeping track of him?
He's hiding because he has too many fucking warrants out for him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm worried he like put a chip in Druckmann's brain and is trying to take over his studio.
No, Druckmann didn't need any help to get this way. This was what getting any amount of success and attention did to him instantly.
The moment The Last of Us popped up and Bruce Straley left, he's like, my intelligence is augmented.
Right.
You know.
Which, to be clear, Uncharted 4 was the moment. Before anyone
if the biggest amount of criticism I as a creator got was that I treated my employees like shit, I wouldn't be out here talking about how excited I was about the technology that seems to solely be exciting people by how they let them treat employees like shit.
Yeah.
Like I would have the self-awareness to not say that, but Neil Druckmann has parasites in his brain now that have eaten all his higher brain functions.
They're going to use it responsibly.
He even says that if prompted correctly, it can write incredible characters. It's something like that. Like, it makes great character dialogue. It's like he's lost it. He's completely lost it.
He's every AI guy, like they are like, I need the holodeck before I'm dead. That's what every single one of them is ultimately motivated by. It's the fuck. I keep saying it. The entirety of Big Think Dimension, I've made fun of the guys who want to live in Star Trek. Like, that is their dream. So anything they think gets them closer to Star Trek is good.
If you're thinking about having AI write a part of your game, chances are you shouldn't even write that part of the game. Like, if it's something you don't want to directly engage with, don't.
I mean, it has to be there because I need this mission to exist because content is good.
What if that mission had no dialogue?
What if instead your game was very slightly shorter?
Right.
I love the notion, though, that he's going to use AI and he's going to do the show simultaneous to the game, and he's going to use AI to help them pump out the episodes of the game, and it's going to be so much closer to the Silent Hill thing that happened on Twitch than any game from any respected studio ever should be.
Yeah, this seems like it's setting up for a fall. Like, and if we were a year in the past, I'd be like, it doesn't matter. It's going to sell 10 million copies anyway. But now I'm not so sure. People aren't hopping on this PS5 shit as fast as Sony wanted. And I feel like the more he runs his mouth, the less anyone likes him. And I feel like gamers are kind of hard to scam. Like, they're inherently distrustful of any weird shit.
You say that, like, but Stadia guys existed.
I'm not enough of them,
or
else Stadia would still exist. So, like, I don't know. What the fuck do you mean, Neil Druckmann? Like, we'll have to see how this is quirky. He might just be lying, and it's just a completely normal game. And this is just his way of saying it's very good.
Every time. That's what it is every time. Like, oh, what is it? Oh, it's nothing. You're just an insane person. There's one more line from this interview I wanted to pull out. That they ask... Wrist surely getting tired by now. How can Sony advance interactive, immersive entertainment and storytelling with its diverse capabilities?
The fuck is that question?
What?
Firstly,
say the line that our PR guy wrote for you, Neil. I teed it up for you.
Firstly, boosting hardware capabilities is essential. It not only supports high-fidelity, complex games, but also simplifies the development of simpler ones by reducing the need for extensive code optimization.
Oh, I need this motherfucker gone.
Reminder, he's like a co-head of the studio now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the last Naughty Dog game I liked at all was Uncharted 4.
Yeah, no, Uncharted 4 was good.
Yeah.
And I don't even really like the previous Uncharted.
It's definitely a lot better than the previous Uncharted.
Yeah, like the rest of this answer is him talking about letting, like, how they have the system to populate, like, landscapes and just let the computer do it automatically, which is how you put creativity forward by lowering the barrier of entry. And you don't need to be as technically skilled because the computer's doing it, but also you're the one being creative.
Reminder, creativity is about you not having to make choices about what you supposedly made. Wait. No, it's the other thing where the choices are made by you, and that's what makes it unique. Anyways, I'm really glad that the Western industry with the quadruple A segment is going so unbelievably fucking insane.
Yeah, this really makes me want them to actually get in there and stop him. I don't think they will.
Like, who's the they?
Sony.
Herman Holst?
Yeah.
You think Herman Holst is...
Like I said, they're not going to do it.
He's going to have to kill somebody first. And by somebody, I mean a game that cost $350 million.
Mm-hmm. Like Herman Hulst needs to walk into that studio with a budget projection, a cowboy hat, and a Colt 45 and declare that there is a new sheriff in town.
It really does feel like that the leadership of every one of these companies is going completely, like just being told profits will not increase at the same rate forever. Sometimes they will stay the same or go down, and there actually is a ceiling because there are boundaries of the physical universe. And that feels like it just made these people insane. Mm-hmm. Like they're now like, save me, machine god. Make the rules of reality different. If we ruin enough potable water and waste enough electricity, the machine god will give us infinite growth.
Well, that's it for Agro's news.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Chris's.
Okay, so apparently internally at Microsoft, they have decided they will put Call of Duty on Game Pass. They also intend to overhaul Game Pass, I presume simplifying the tiers or just altering the tiers, and it pretty much said, like, the tier Call of Duty is on will cost more.
Wow, wasn't there a GigaBoots Game of the Year award for things we don't want to see this year on Big Thing being a new tier of Game Pass that costs more because of Call of Duty?
Yep.
Did that win? Was that the number one selection?
It was pretty, if it didn't win, it was fucking close.
God. Did we get an award? Does anyone give us an award?
No.
Can we get like...
No, once it happens, everybody will tell us that it was obvious.
Yeah, and that's the maddening part. Mm-hmm. Not the part where they ignored me, the part where they ignore us and then later act like we all knew. God. I was listening to a dude being like, if they don't put Call of Duty on Game Pass, that would be news. Because that would be a change. That'd be a change from what they said they were doing. And I'm like, do you think every Xbox-owned game is on Game Pass? Do you think everything Microsoft owns is on Game Pass? That's not the case, especially not with the Activision acquisition.
Right, with all these acquisitions.
They haven't put shit from the Activision acquisition on there.
They got Diablo on there now, right? Diablo 4.
That's the one Activision game they've gotten in 8 months?
I know, I'm not saying... I'm just like, I want to point out the one.
Why isn't every single Call of Duty back to 2013 on there?
Yeah. I'm constantly wondering that.
Why isn't I think maybe Spyro or Crash are too, but I don't remember. I don't think all of them are. I don't think Crash Collection
I don't think
Crash 4 are.
I don't think they put the Crash Collection or Crash 4 on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. Anyways, that sucks. That's exactly what we didn't want to have happen.
I wonder if they're going to try to rename and reshuffle all these tiers, and somehow they make it worse. I don't even know how they do it.
Microsoft's very good at doing that.
I have some predictions, but I can't say them this week. Kingdom Hearts is finally coming to Steam.
That took so long.
Yeah, it did. Most people didn't even know it was on PC.
Yeah. Many people didn't even know it was on PC because nobody knows the Epic Game Store exists. In fact, Pat Starzat tried to run a bit on Wooly about it, and it didn't work because Wooly didn't know they were on PC at all. Because nobody knows anything that's on Epic Game Store.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Yup, that's what we call negative market share.
I genuinely wonder, like, at what point do they just shut Epic Game Store down? Like, we'll still serve you the games you own, but there's no more like store. You can't buy things anymore.
It feels like that has to be a step at some point, right?
I mean, Fortnite would have to be cold and in the earth before that happened.
Would it?
Do you have to buy things for Fortnite. Shoot there. I saw.
Yeah, of course. That's the whole reason it exists. It started as a Fortnite thing and then wrapped
when do
around
they
to.
When do they just never get any game on it ever again? Like they just stop.
That may have happened.
That may have happened. We wouldn't know.
Right. Oh yeah, I want to point out, if you've not played every Kingdom Hearts game, do not watch the trailer they put out for this. It spoils the ending to every one of them in a row.
That's funny.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, here's the end of Remind. I'm like, what?
I mean, that came out 4 years ago. I guess they're like, well, nobody is going to play this first. Surely they owned something at some point.
That's the ending to the most recent thing, the most final of endings to the most recent thing. Yeah, but this is like,
yeah,
hey,
it's supposed to be a new audience.
Wouldn't you be like,
show you this stuff before it comes out? Of course, they'll show it to you after.
They're like, wouldn't you like to get interested in our franchise? Here's every ending. That's deranged, Chris. I don't know how you defend this.
Right?
That is fucking unreal. That's like if they did a trailer. Play all your favorite trials in Ace Attorney. Guilty, guilty, guilty. This is how, this is how, this is how. And just so you know, this one dies in this game. And then in this game, you play as him. Which would be a fucking hilarious trailer, frankly.
But yeah, that trailer's got a new recording of Simple and Clean.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because
they announced a lot of stuff related to this. I think like a showcase or some shit.
Yeah, somebody was saying they redid all the textures for these games.
There is some line that might insinuate that.
Okay,
and so I wouldn't jump right to the conclusion of they did it for everything.
I mean, I'm usually just like wait until it comes out and someone does the comparison because I trust that more than what people think.
Yeah, because it's literally like a bullet people are extrapolating into this.
Okay, but yeah, no, This is good, and I'm very excited, and I have to wonder how much more the randomizer scene will grow once people know that the PC version exists at all.
Right?
Anyway.
Apparently, I'll just cover this now because it's sort of related. Apparently, the Final Fantasy IX remake is not canceled.
Good.
Oh, really?
It came out from that leaker that's been big lately, that's been leaking shit from everybody, Midori.
Oh yeah,
and has pretty consistently been right. Not only did they say, yeah, it's not canceled. They were like, yeah, all those fucking Kingdom Hearts games, including 4, are coming to Switch 2.
We of course.
Yeah.
There's
they literally made an announcement that they were doing this. I don't see why anybody would assume they didn't. They also said that allegedly Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to look a lot different from those trailers they've shown.
I would bet those trailers don't at all strike me as final.
No, that doesn't look like anything that the game could be.
Like stylistically, visually, will look much different.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's going to look more like 3, and they'll be like, yeah, so it could run on the Switch too.
I mean, yeah, that thing literally, if they got a thing out that looked like that game, I don't see it hitting above 30 frames per second. If they're aiming for a Switch 2 as well, then there are going to be compromises that you maybe want to do. I assume, because, we heard with 7 Rebirth's development and stuff, they talked about if you want to push Unreal Engine 5 with all the features, that's not a proven sustainable thing for us as a studio. That was a lesson they learned literally through Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah. So hearing that there's a distinct, massive change, not only because it has been 2 years since that trailer, 3? 2.
3.
Because it was early 2022, right?
No, it was 2021.
People are saying 2.
Okay.
April 2022. Okay. I'm not surprised at all to hear it will look massively different. It's like, absolutely. It will not be that fidelity. It will look better, however, because that's how art works, baby.
Yeah.
Also, supposedly, Kingdom Hearts characters are at some point coming to Fortnite.
Riku would shoot a gun.
Yes.
I'm genuinely wondering, like, if Kingdom Hearts 4 isn't going to pop up at this Summer of Gaming somewhere.
It might.
Finally, the dream came true. Riku's on that beach as a baby and he gets handed a gun.
Yes.
Finally.
I'm legitimately Square Enix. If you're doing all this collab shit, you need to make right your fucking horrible mistake of just putting dog shit cosmetics into Apex and fucking put Cloud in Fortnite. I will buy that battle pass and then just pay money to get to the Cloud unlock. I don't give a shit.
I mean, then you could do all the music game shit as Cloud.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh man, their Cloud would be so sauceless though. But it'd be funny at least.
I was watching a video that was like, here are all the models ever made for Solid Snake. And ignoring the fact that he covers some people that aren't Solid Snake. He gets to fucking Fortnite and he's like, it's the highest fidelity model for Solid Snake ever made. It's really amazing. And it has like 10 times the polygons of Metal Gear Solid 5 even or something. And it's like, yeah, but it looks like shit.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
It looks fucking terrible. I don't care how many
It
triangles.
has literally no butt.
Yeah, it's an assless snake. That should have been his name.
Speaking of sauceless Cloud, I feel like I almost need to take the fucking David Lynch voice for this, but I'm not going to. Attention, Internet. The character in Inside Out 2, the video game character they revealed today that the main character likes, does not look like a Final Fantasy character. They look like a League of Legends character. Please learn the difference between these two things. I will post him in the Big Think channel so people can see this League of Legends character.
Thank you, because I have no fucking... I don't follow the internet well enough.
That is not a Final Fantasy character.
That is like... This is a derogatory impersonation of Tarek. This is below League of Legends.
This is a Paladin's character.
This is unreal.
Yeah, this is like...
Holy shit, this is like...
Wreck-It Ralph 2's version of a League of Legends character.
Dude, it is lower than that. This is like Neopets got a new cool MOBA. We don't have the pets. Here's this guy. What in the fuck am I cannot...
God, this design sucks. This is terrible. I'm sorry. Go back to fucking school, whoever did this. You failed.
I seriously think this is like... This shows up in a game that gets homophobic about a parody of Final Fantasy.
He does look like the guy from Matt Hazard that was a Final Fantasy.
That's literally what I was gonna say. Of like, this dude shows up in Matt Hazard.
God,
holy shit! That should be the viewer pick for Summer Games Fest. You is this guy. Then again, we're doing Summer Games Fest with this view.
That's
you
true.
know, like we did the other conferences. I like it a lot.
So they could replace that guy in the middle.
That's. I don't know about that. We could.
I feel
stick
like that
the
guy
chat
needs to be replaced with our special guest for this specific Games Fest.
We'll do it for Call of Duty.
But let's move on from Kingdom Hearts coming. By the way, they recolored that fucking Keyblade again. For the Steam version. Yeah, because it's the one that was for Amazon. It was for whatever store you got it from. You got a recolor.
Yeah.
Wasn't this specific Keyblade?
Because I had an Xbox one.
7-Eleven one or 7-Eleven one?
I think so. But
in
that
Japan?
might have been Japan only.
Yeah.
I might buy Kingdom Hearts 2 on PC because of the randomizer. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I sit here and go, in theory, the PC version should be the version I want because of my 4090.
Right.
But
that shit runs at 4K 60 on consoles already, like the early ones, not 3.
Yeah, 3's a little weird because it's hard set in its ways.
Mm-hmm.
But Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 look obscene.
I wonder if can you unlock the frame rate and go like 120 and above on the PC version?
I don't think you can. I think there are problems with that. But, this might be a touched up version of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
Like, it might support newer features and things, and that would be awesome.
Nintendo has acquired Shiver Entertainment from Embracer. They port games to the Switch. They ported Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1, but we're not going to hold that against them because other studios also helped with it. It seemed like they wanted it out now.
Right, yeah. That thing absolutely reeked of absolutely rushed.
So, okay, I guess it makes sense.
Did you see how much they acquired them for?
No.
That's the actual news, $1.
What?
Yeah, apparently they just took on partial ownership of the debt.
Oh my
So the actual acquisition cost is apparently on paper $1 or some shit.
Huh.
$10. Yeah.
That's insane.
Wouldn't it be insane if they're like, okay, your job is to make these Switch 2 games run on the Switch?
I love chat right now. I thought it was $10. Do you think the difference
Right,
between 1 and 10 matters?
I have a $1 and a $10 bill in my wallet right now.
Yeah, I would love to own a studio.
Right.
But yeah, apparently they're just taking ownership of some of the debt. So on paper, though, they paid $10 for the studio.
Man, we're talking about the Switch 2 kicking Sony's ass. What if they announce the Switch 2 and they're like, the Switch is, here's a new revision of the Switch. It's $99.
That would be really
That
funny.
would be insane.
Yeah, it's worth noting that these guys being like port masters, that it's incredibly important geocourses over there working on the Switch 2, getting things ported and whatnot, no doubt. Lining up that lineup. Yeah. This is a pretty huge deal, I think.
Yeah, it at least shows that Nintendo is once again the only publisher right now that seems to be doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
IGN Entertainment has purchased the entire games journalism industry.
That should be illegal.
Yeah, it sure should. Unfortunately, much like what did you know that at some point somebody sued Diamond Distributions, the company that distributes comic books, for monopoly practices? You know what the court said, Bob?
What'd they say?
People ship other books. Comic books aren't a special thing.
What?
Yep.
That worked?
Yep. So I assume that that's just the logic here. Well, gaming journalism isn't all journalism.
That's insane.
So IGN has acquired Eurogamer, Game Informer, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, gamesindustry.biz, and Dicebreaker. This network they bought because those were all on the Gamer network of sites. That means they now also own significant portions of Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, and Hookshot. And Hookshot includes Nintendo Life, Push Square, and Pure Xbox.
Good Lord. That's a lot.
John Linneman has been executed. That was just a joke I wrote in the notes. But there has already been an undisclosed number of layoffs.
Of course.
Including multiple people at gamesindustry.biz who maybe were a little bit too critical of the modern industry.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
they wrote articles every week complaining about certain things in the modern industry, and they said, well, we don't need you anymore now that we're owned by IGN.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That one's the worst to go. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm surprised that gamesindustry.biz was owned by a greater thing.
Right?
But now they're just completely worthless. Like, I can't trust you at all. You're owned by IGN.
Yeah. I'm surprised Game Informer was also part of this. Like, I thought that GameStop owned a significant portion of that, but I guess not.
Maybe they owned the magazine, but the site they don't own.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would be surprised if GameStop didn't. Maybe GameStop just owns IGN and we don't even know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that could be the case, because that would involve GameStop owning things.
That's true. And finally, Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun has DLC coming June 18th. It will have new weapons and monsters and a new chunk of campaign. It will come alongside a free update that includes Horde mode and other quality of life features.
Neat.
Yeah, did you ever finish that, Aggro?
I didn't finish that one, no.
Yeah, I was always kind of curious, but there just had not been time.
I do need to go back for it. Yeah, that was a year.
Yeah.
Like, that game even has a mode where you can just become invincible and plow through it. I really need to just see the end of that game.
And I had one more thing that came out during this that I became aware of during this.
Oh yeah.
So the Epic versus Google lawsuit was happening.
Right.
Google lost.
Yeah.
So this today has been the remedy hearing,
Uh-huh.
wherein the judge has to tell them what the remedy, how to remedy their violation of antitrust laws will be.
I was like, how the fuck is Remedy involved in this?
Google Google gave their like, well, here's what we think you should do. And it was basically, you should do nothing. We need to have a monopoly for reasons.
Oh my God.
The judge, to put it mildly, was not sympathetic to this stance. They literally said, no, you're supposed to give me evidence about why I shouldn't demand certain specific remedies. You instead came to me with, I shouldn't give any remedy at all. Direct quote, look, Your Honor, you're going to draft this injunction and it's going to be very complicated. And the judge cut them off with, oh, no, it's not going to be complicated. Keep in mind that in the Epic versus Apple one is still ongoing. It really seems like every government is getting ready to fucking brutalize tech.
Good.
They need it real bad.
Mm-hmm.
That Scarlett Johansson shit with OpenAI is like getting Congress like, we're gonna kill you.
Yeah,
We're
did
gonna
you
eat
catch
your
any of that,
bones."
Bob?
Yes, that got enough coverage that even I caught it.
Yeah, to just recap that for future people and anyone who's in the dark right now, which I understand, fuck AI. GPT 4.0, apparently Sam Altman, I believe is the name of the dude who runs the company. Anyways, he tried to get ScarJo to license her voice for the voice of GPT 4.0. She said no. And then they went ahead with a voice that was clearly based on hers. And 2 days before they went to launch it, they're like, are you sure you probably want to sign up for this? She's like, no, and I will see you in courts, basically. And they were like, well.
From all the reporting, they were surprised.
Yeah. That's how much these tech companies get away with it.
Right? It's like you thought that you could just use the voice of a A-list celebrity?
Right? Literally an A-list celebrity you thought would kneel to you.
Who told you no?
Motherfucker, you'll be lucky to make it 10 years. God, AI is so funny now. It's funny just how much this is like the current thing. I forget, somebody pointed out justifiably what the next thing, oh yeah, quantum computing is going to be like the next thing after AI, no doubt. Of just like, and now everyone's built in quantum bullshit into random electronics and it doesn't make any sense.
Like, oh,
well, I mean,
quantum?
we're going to call it
You know what
quantum.
that word means? Yeah, like they don't. Like, I don't think you understand what quantum mechanics is.
Well, see, as the device operates, it exists inside of the flow of time, so it's quantum.
Oh, is that how that works?
Even that isn't really accurate to what quantum means.
Can I get some leap technology in my computer too while we're at it? Anyways, is that it for news?
I think so.
I think so.
Cool.
Try to read something about this antitrust shit with Google. It's really embarrassing where it's like, yeah, we don't have the number of how much this costs that we do. Please don't do nothing. And then the judge is like, if you don't tell me a number, I'm going to make up a number that isn't favorable to you.
Right. Yeah.
If you can't give me a number, I have no alternative.
It is so fucking sad watching these fucking crybaby tech corporations go to fucking court, and every time they just try to go, oh, we're so weak. We have glass bones. Please don't slap us on the wrist. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Big Think Dimension. As we were saying earlier, coming up in the next week, Chris is streaming Final Fantasy VIII on what I assume is Saturday.
Yep.
Bob and I tomorrow will be doing the Hellblade versus Stella Blade flop swap death stream. And next Wednesday, Gamma Chris is going to come on over. We're going to stream Super Mario 64, and it's going to be really good. They have all sorts of toggles and things you can do to make the game even more optimal for play. For example, you get a star, you won't exit the level. You can set that. You can have everyone move to different stars in different versions of levels because, sometimes when you enter for star 2, it'll be like Koopa the Quick's ready to race you. And then you can just go, swimming is too goddamn slow, make it insanely fast. And it just ups the physics on swimming insanely, which weirdly enough also makes it when the clams hit you underwater, you go flying out of the water.
Great.
Like, it is absurd. Anyways, that's going to be really good. So please look forward to that if you're not following Gamer Chris. We did a shout out just now. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of Big Think Dimension. Summer Game Fest is soon.
It is. It approaches.
It is upon us. We need Phil Spencer to come out like the ending of Clue and be like, the day of reckoning is upon us, and he draws a gun. Anyways, bye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension was only possible because of you and your support over at patreon.com/GB Podcast, where you can get early access to Chugging Bleach, Pokemon Go to the Movies. You can also listen to extra Armchair Gamer Prep. We have a movie!